It's warming up outside. It's election day in the United Kingdom. I hope you have gone and exercised your right, as I will be doing a little bit later. Joining me tonight, two excellent gentlemen ready to break down our first half of games. How are we doing, Nick and Dubby?
Oh, I'm so excited because it's the first time I'm on the desk here for Four Nations, and I'm ready to go. I hear today's matchup is quite nice to watch.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
we have
gonna
some
be
sick
interesting.
games. I'm excited to be here too. I love being on the UKL. I love being on Div 1 right now and getting to watch some Four Nations games. It's always hype.
So much fun. All right, top of the day. Rod and his friends versus Venom Crest. Is this a game of the split? You know, I was super excited for Bandits Venom Crest. Is Broad and Friends versus Venom Crest our new number one versus number two?
Like just looking at the last split standings, they are the 1 and 2 in the leaderboard back then. I do believe that Venom Crest was the one who went 9-0, while Broad and Friends was 8-1, only losing to Venom Crest. So it's kind of a bit of a revenge for Broad and Friends here.
Yeah, I think this game's gonna
they're
be
running
hype.
it back.
Broad and Friends have put together a really strong roster this split, and you know what? Venom Crest have lost games so far. We've had proof that gods can bleed, and I know for a fact that Broad and Friends want to get a piece of that. They know that these teams can be defeated, and they would love to take a win from them, especially after last split. Get the revenge from Venom Crest. Why the heck not?
From a tough lower bracket run all the way up to it being at the top of the tables. Shortly following, we got Bandits and Bulldogs. We'll get onto them in a little bit. We're not far away from draft. We'll be getting that started in just a minute, gentlemen. What are we looking at for these two teams? Nick, why are we so excited about Broad and Friends today?
Oh man, because I was checking out their games earlier, and like if we put, let's say, like the standout performer Spark right now on the AD carries, if they can put him on like a high agency AD carry, let's say Kaisa, then we are going to see such an incredible team fight, because not only that team is great at facilitating his playmaking abilities. Venom Crest also has such great team fighting potential, like the way they just collapse onto their enemies, especially if you get bust Gragas. Ooh. So it's gonna. I think the draft is going to matter so much between these two teams, and I want to see some picks taken away, like banned out completely. But if they get it, it's gonna be a very explosive fight.
Dubby, your number one thing you're looking forward to this game, please.
Ooh. Number one, I mean, gosh, number one thing I want to call off is how does Galaxy perform again? Galaxy had a decent game Monday, filling in for Phrase on Venom Crest. They're playing again since Phrase is still on their monk retreat somewhere after being sent to the Shadow Realm. So we'll have to see how Galaxy does now. They did look bad on Monday. I think like they look great, and they had a lot of like very well team around them to play with. So we'll have to see how that works, because Pulp might just be a bit of a better opponent for Galaxy here. So that this jungle matchup, as a jungler as well, it's always something I'm going to be very keen to watch.
All right, we are seconds away from draft. It's not quite showing up on a stream yet, so we'll wait and we'll let it jump scare us just in a moment. But big stakes, big teams, big Gragas, as we've known to come and love from Bust. Like, he's still an Aatrox abuser in my mind, even though that champion is far less popular than a little while ago. And you know, there's big sort of takeaways. He commands the game. I'm excited to see whether that is just more Gragas or whether we got like a Rumble or a Jace in the pocket, something that can really deal some damage. We also mentioned Kaiser for Spark. I think that, you know, as soon as Zeri like peeks ahead into meta again, we're gonna have a really interesting time where he just decides to 1v5 any of the big champions. Is finally, that is blue one ban readied. We're ready to go into draft.
Yeah, and like what I am, because you already, like you told about the top laner from Venom Crest, like even if Gragas gets banned, he has an Aatrox. But what I've been noticing, especially Monday, was Shen was prioritized in the top lane, and Shen is also a champion that got buffed in this patch as well. So I'm very excited to see if that champ is going to priority pick for either of these two teams.
Didn't Shen lose every game on Monday, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah.
Like I did. Like it's. I'm not saying it's a bad pick, but like it just didn't work on Monday for these teams, and it's not sure if they're just not optimizing the Shen right, or if Shen is just like, or if the carries weren't there to carry. Because like both of these teams, they definitely arguably have better carries. So for sure, interested if the Shen does pop up. But when we're getting bans like this, Broad and Friends banning away the Gragas, I think Bust has mainly finally made their statement piece on this champion that it won't be picked anymore. And now we're getting QQR's Victor being taken away, Air's Azir, maybe even a Rise might come through, because Air's also look great on Rise. So
I think if I was on either of these teams, taking away huge control mages to try and satisfy my win condition first, definitely feels like the initial strategy. You know, Air incredible performances on this Azir, and QQR that little bit of creative freedom, the denying the melee gameplay up front away. So it's not Nemly over in mid lane for Broad and Friends. It's a different set of friends today. So no Nico ban, but it feels like anything that can be stunned in front of you is what Venomcrest want to play today.
Yeah, and I really like the them to take away Varus at the same time, because it gives Skylark so much momentum to like just completely try and dominate Spark, because Varus is so strong early on. And I think what they should be looking for is to, well, try to take Spark a notch down, so he cannot go for that insane carry role that he's really known for. But Sejuani as the first pick being hovered for the jungler. Very quick one. Supportive.
Interesting. Dubby, are we going to see Yone, Yasuo, or Aurelia coming through later on? A Venomcrest laying the trap?
I would like to, yeah. When you see a pick like this Sejuani, it's exactly you want to get those kind of melee combos in there to enable the passive to get those going. If it's something that Bust will play, I mean, it's potential. We'll see Paul playing Xin Zhao again. We've seen this a few times, and it's looked very good along this split. I do like Xin Zhao in his current state, especially if you have an opportunity to pair with an Enchanter. And the rest of this comp from Broad and Friends, like, they like playing these carries. It's nothing that you won't be surprised to see Spark on. So picking it with an Enchanter or some kind of engage support, both work really nicely. And it gives you an opportunity to just get another secure pick right there. And if we're seeing Ezreal hovered, you know what? Won't be the Ezreal, but Orianna, fantastic pick, right? It's not an Enchanter, but it's a mid lane Enchanter, has the shield, has the move speed, can buff up. This 2v2 mid jungle is already looking so great from them.
Yeah, and it's not just...
Very generous to go to Enchanter, but this is a control mage. You know, we've seen 2 control mage bans, Nick. What comes through? What a Venomcrest set up for here?
Like with the Sejuani, you kind of want to facilitate a very strong mid laner like Yone being hover right now. You already mentioned it earlier on, where he will be able to dive someone and say do all of the damage on their carries, while Sejuani is going to follow up and make sure that Yone is able to do his job way in the back line. And it just means that it's a very strong duo. And I am looking now for their AD carry to lock in as well. They were already like hovering the Ezreal, kind of showing like, hey, we want to play it a bit more safe. But top laners right now being checked out. Cassante, of course, a very strong top laner, always has been, and has been locked in as well. And oh, that was a quick Kai'Sa lock in.
Oh, that was fast, Dubby.
Both sides. Both sides of this draft looking so good right now. You have the Yone Cassante pairing with the Sejuani. So much goes together there. Kai'Sa on the pick for Spark. We've seen Spark play it a few times, and it's never looked bad in Spark's hands. So that's great right there. Like, this is the first time, I swear, in like any draft I've been on Desco far, where like I've been torn. Like, so far it's sometimes been like one team's done something crazy and one team's done something standard. Right now we're both seeing just good things through and through, and it's not to be, you know, it's not a surprise. We've got Venomcrest versus Broad and Friends, 2 of our, you know, more experienced teams right now coming against each other. You don't expect anything less. And now the bans, I love these bans. The Nautilus, the Braum, you know, get rid of these supports that kind of ruin our comp. The poke from the side of Broad and Friends, the hard engage from the other side. Like, yeah, no, this is quality textbook drafting from these teams.
Maybe, Ben? Because they do get rid of the Braum, and it does mean that Broad and Friends, they want to dive in. They want to go for kills very fast, go for the AoE, and Rel being taken away, Corki, actually. So Renata could be a pick for Venomcrest right now.
It goes pretty hard for both sides. I think Venomcrest so short range as well. Broad and Friends would enjoy that without a melee support. Sejuani's all on a lonesome. There'll be what's going to be defended here. We'd normally say this is going to be mid, but instead, with this draft setup, you've already got your front line. You've already got the setup, the poke.
Yeah,
lock really in this.
You want to lock in a top laner, maybe not the Gnar. It works into Cassante. It's like, you know, you've seen what they pick. You want to give your last pick to support this situation, so it makes sense. And now Venomcrest, very happy to lock in that bot lane. Xayah Rakan. Yeah, I like that turnaround from them.
I think this is the freest Renata of my life. I think you're right on the money, Nick.
Yeah, they got quite a bunch of diving team members. Like Yone want to go in, Sejuani kind of wants to go in. Of course, she has the ultimate, so if she wants to engage, she throws out her ultimate whiffs. They're still like at a range where they don't have to really bother playing into a Renata. But Alistar, I guess, is also one of those disengagers.
Yeah.
But at the same time, because it's a frontliner, it makes Kai'Sa's job a little bit more easy.
Yeah, it's not this like, you know, Renata makes the lane absolutely horrendous, but then later on you point this big ultimate. Alistair, definitely lower committal, definitely, you know, how to say this, more kinetic, more physical with how he wants to get in there. Is it gonna be enough for Broad and Friends to have that trio of frontline with the Gnar transforming as well? W, is that gonna be enough, sufficient for them in this game?
It gives them the face check champion. You know, if you need to check a bush, sure, you got Renata with her abilities.
You mean they're
that can
throwing
check
Zeta
it.
under the bus?
No. But like, he's the first one in, and then everyone else could follow after that. Someone's got to do it. I don't think we're gonna want to see Pope or Akkers do it on their champions, but an Alistar, why not? And then there's so much potential follow up coming out from it. I do think it will work out for them, but like, it's going to be an interesting. I think the bot lane will definitely favor towards the side of Venom Crest early. I mean, it's Zyra Khan. These guys, just these two champions are meant to play together. They work together. However, as this game ticks on, I feel like Broad and Friends could take over depending on how, again, this mid-jungle duo matchup works. So they can get this Xin Zhao ahead or the Orianna ahead. Absolutely golden.
All right. I'm feeling Broad and Friends from Dubby. Nick, it's your first game. We've banged through a very fast desk here that you'd prepared way more for. With that in mind, what's your prediction?
I'm actually like just looking straight up at the draft. I think I am going to go for Venom Crest this time. Not only did they beat them the last time, so they should have like a mental advantage already. Looking at the team comp of Broad and Friends specifically, I think their engage is lacking a little bit, and that means that Broad and Friends, they are not able to dictate the game, whereas Venom Crest, they can really choose when they want to pull that trigger, go for that engage, and it's up to Broad and Friends to play more reactive against Venom Crest and just, you know, outskill them in a team fight. I think that is their way to win the mid game.
Yeah, it wouldn't be the first time Broad and Friends had opted in for check these hands out. Successful and unsuccessful, mind you. We have a little bit longer before we go to game. I don't want to make Rory sweat all the way through the spectator delay. So let's play this out. We're thinking, you know, Broad and Friends are going to come online a little bit later. W, you mentioned a few avenues they could go through. The patches change. You know, we can't just rod of ages this business and get it on with. Anything you see on this draft screen, which is in Discord, if you've already forgotten, like I have.
Yeah.
Anything there that benefits massively, because we are on live. We're on the Spirit Blossom map. It looks beautiful. Any big changes that strike you?
I mean, let's talk about top lane, right? When you have the grubs, now they only spawn once. They spawn once at 8 minutes, and you only have to get 2 for feats of strength, and then all 3 for that buff. Now, when you have a top side Cassante versus Gnar, you're gonna have to see which champion can get that advantage. Likely, I'm leaning towards the Gnar right now. I mean, I think it's a very skill matchup for sure. But whoever can get that priority going around that 8-minute mark to secure those grubs is going to be absolutely key. Also applies just as much to this mid lane as well. When you have an Orianna into the Yone too, similar kind of thing. If they can get the push to get these early grubs, it is such a more valuable objective, and you see a lot more fighting around it. So that's what I'm kind of thinking of. That's the big change here. That's going to have a big effect.
It's a pretty big takeaway, you know. And for all of us at home, outside of competitive, with our teammates slightly less chosen for us, it means your top lane only has to move once, which is, you know, half as much as they had to move before. Significant improvement. Nick, any big takeaways from you, Patch, looking at this game?
Yeah, I kind of want to go into what W said a little bit more. Like, what he said was mostly if it just going to be revolving around the top lane, but what I'm going to expect is that teams are going to move their AD carry support up towards the top lane just before the 8-minute mark, so they can contest it with more team members. And I think it's just like it's going to revolve more around objective spawners in the jungle. Drake, of course, spawns at 5, so you want them in the bot lane, and after that you want to recall, go to the top lane, get a push, and then get your 2 void grubs. So I think that should be the case, or at least what teams should be going to aim for. If they don't, I do think that it's going to favor Gnar way more heavily than the Cassante. But what I'm also finding very interesting is that with the feats of strength, when you secure them, tier 3 boots, they've become cheaper.
Mm.
Previously, like at the beginning of last patch, we were like, they're quite strong. Just buy them after 2 items, and then as time went on, we were like, yeah, it's actually not that strong. Just buy it at the at
I've been
fourth item
baited
or
by
something,
flat
right?
magic penetration. It looked so attractive.
Yes.
Hopefully now it just like replaces an elixir, right? It's like the first elixir you buy. You probably should be shoes. Finish your item otherwise. And you know what? We're finished with this desk. We're gonna throw it over to the casters. We've seen one of them before, and the other's Rory B. Hi Rory, how you doing?
Hi, Temporal. I'm doing great. We're back with Dubby. We get double Dubby today, so you know it's going to be a great show. Dubby, come on. This draft, right? I was screaming in the green room and saying this is the freest Vaynang of all time, right? Oh, brilliant. I mean, it was really exciting to see. But yeah, new draft. Sorry, new patch even. Not the most has changed, right, overall. When you're looking at champions, there haven't been that many nerfs. Only to really key outliers. But a lot of champions have been brought up in power. Surprisingly, none of those changed champions in this first game, though. So clearly we're just sticking with the meta. The 2-day read is that no one has really been brought up to an S tier.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's there are a lot of picks there, and I mean, really, when we go over this draft too, the biggest thing that caught me off guard when we talk about S tier picks is the first pick Sejuani. I have not seen that in a long time.
I know.
That was an interesting one, right? Like I like it, but you know what? Fair enough. Actually, you know, I do like it because when you talk about Galaxy, I was talking about them before. We're not sure like where this player stands as a substitute, and that's a great pick to throw on a substitute. It's like the Maokai, you know, just give them a great tanky CC jungler, no pressure for them to carry. No pressure for them that they can give the goal elsewhere. And you know what? Like, in the long run, it works out, I think.
And it kind of gave the green light for QQR in that draft to lock in the Orianna because she has a natural winning lane into Yone. And if you see the enemy picking Sejuani, you know they're either going Rumble, Yone, or both. So it's a really big indicator, and Broad had a very nice read on that.
Yeah, and I mean, it's gonna be... I think this is just... I don't know, bot side, I kind of want to ignore for a bit. I mean... It should be interesting, but I'm all about this 3v3 top lane. I think that's going to be exciting. Like, for sure, I think the bot lane 2v2 will be fun. It's definitely got first blood material, like when we're talking about, like, how when we talk about Alistar pick, the last time I saw Alistar on Monday, it didn't look too hot. It kind of, that was the, I want to say the Bandits game where Elendil got like 7 kills very early on. That's like a example of how Alistar might not work out, but when we go onto the Rift now, we'll probably get a better understanding of how this Alistar works out. But hey, I'm excited, and I'm sure you are.
I'm super excited as we're seeing some early vision being put down from the side of Broad and Friends, just trying to track Galaxy as much as possible here. No abnormal runes going on, no one's doing any cheekiness there. We're not seeing any Ignite on Cassante, as we have seen a few times in this split.
Yeah.
Pretty standard assignments, both junglers clearing top to bot, so there will be a brawl over that first crab in the bottom river, so we'll have to wait a few minutes to see how that all unfolds.
I mean, the top to bottom clear is interesting on the top side too, because when you're looking at grass versus the aftershock, this does give actors the potential to use that post to stack it up a bit, get that extra health flowing. Sante taking aftershock here, you know, I don't hate it. It works out nicely.
It makes more sense than grass.
They won't be able to proc the grass so much, and bot lane is already looking spicy. We can see both these guys, they are fighting over that early level too.
Yeah, I mean, both champions have really good wave damage at level 1, both Xayah and Kai'Sa. So they're really brawling it out. Skylark just trying to poke through the wave to hit Spark. And obviously Zeta, not much of a champion at level 1, so we'll have to concede that level 2 first. But I think Spark's able to pick up most of these minions under tower without much falling. Yeah, as we're seeing now, the CS actually in Broad and Friends' favour in that bot lane. Skylark missing 2 of those minions. We'll just see if that CS lead is showing, because we've seen a few major CS leads developing so far this split, and that's been a real goal determiner more than objectives, really.
No, for sure. I mean, in the games when we looked previously where teams get kills up, they can still fall behind in gold by just losing gold on the map, and it sometimes is just the little things like minions and faster jungle clears. Junglers here are matching each other on pace, and will be bot side of the same. But with this push that we see from Venom Crest, very likely that Galaxy will get a priority on that crab. Thankfully, these aren't the days of old where these crabs were win or lose, and that should be an
crab
okay
shield
moment.
and all of that jazz. Oh,
Exactly.
so OP. Nice knockup. As we're now seeing, yep, Venom Crest getting that early priority with the Zyra Khan, and now Proper Panda just escorting Galaxy towards that crab here, spotting out Pop. Pop, you can't walk in here.
Pop actually engaging onto the Sejuani, forced to flash away from the Zyra Khan, but there's still a stun waiting for them. Trigger will be pulled. QPR there with the shield. Should help them fight back, as now they look to change it. Knockup after Proper Panda, and that's first blood to QQR.
And oh dear, bit of miscommunication there. Yeah, Proper Panda not flashing that combo. It's gonna spell his demise. First blood going over to Broad and Friends. Luckily for Venom Crest, first bloods aren't as impactful as they used to be, only giving 300 gold now because they stack towards the feats. But oh dear, Air is not happy, that's for sure. Already in a losing lane those early levels. And that Oriana's going to get accelerated towards her lost chapter buy.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the farm in the mid lane quite even as well, so QQR with the teleport, low in mana, but able to get back to this mid lane at any point they choose to reset. Folk, we also saw quickly reset up there, opting in for double Ruby Crystal on Xin Zhao. Interesting choice of items. I want to see what this guy builds it out, because we see the Giant's build on this Sejuani, which is what we would expect. Also, I just thought it's a red smite on this Sejuani. Going for a bit of burst there, aren't they?
Full damage Sejuani is not something I frequently see. Like, sure, blue smite I see occasionally, but wow, I guess the Sej is just a very angry boar today.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'll respect it. We'll see how they work on their items. You know, if it's gonna be the kind of jungler that just stacks a bunch of Giant's belts or goes into Heartsteel early, there's lots of opportunities. Well, back into this bot lane, right? It's been pretty even so far. However, constant pushing for... Never mind that top lane! We're getting a dive from Acker, is looking for something, but can't convert more.
Love the aggression from Acker. It's really nice use of the Pathmaker from Buster, because 100% falling down if that Nah connects. You know, it has so many A's and R's in that ability name, I never know if I have to scream it whenever on cast. So it always makes things a bit difficult. For a play-by-play, it's so much easier for you, but I'm meant to be the controlled one in the situation.
I get what you mean there. I mean, Acker is looking confident, right, this game. They've had a good few games before them so far, so this guy has all the confidence right now. And this is just such a huge game for Bond Friends if they get the win. We're seeing Galaxy again being aggressive onto Pulp, knowing their mid laner can get there first. And I you know what? I do respect the aggression. Why not? Like, Sejuani into the Xin Zhao. When you see Xin Zhao with these items especially, like, why not jump forward? Use the Aftershock to give yourself that extra resistances. And even here, starting the Dragon, great opportunity.
And as Nick was mentioning on desk, now with a later grub timer, losing out in jungle early hurts so much more because you can't just trade a dragon for some 3 grubs, right? Because grubs spawn halfway through, in this case, the second dragon's timer. In theory, Venom Crest can try and go for a full sweep of 3 grubs and 2 dragons. As we're seeing some more trading come out in the bot lane.
Yeah, these bot lane, I mean, they're just going to be tagging each other left and right, and it's rightly so, because, again, the pressure you can have in this matchup is insane. And the healing that comes from Rakan as well, just off the return of their Q, like, they do have opportunities to sustain up Skylark in any choice they have. So I do like the aggression. Now I want to see how these supports move on the map with the grub spawning in about 50 seconds. Look at the lane swaps coming through. Both bot lanes doing lane swaps right here. This is beautiful.
Love it. And, you know, we have 4 teams right now who are 4-1 at the top of our league. So when Venom Crest and Broad and Friends I saw were on the docket for today, I was like, oh yeah, we're about to see some proper skirmishes, some proper early game macro. Pop spotted around this crab. Zeta face checking the bush.
Knockup comes through. Smite from Galaxy does get that crab, as now Pulp is the attention seeker right there. Gets CC'd after CC, but a nice shockwave will keep them alive for just a moment as they're trying to run away. Flashes and gets away on a sliver of health. As you have to ask Venomcrest, what was your target selection?
I mean, that was wild. Like, the 3-man shockwave from QQR was huge because it bought Pop the time to rinse off that crowd control and get out. But I thought Pop was as good as dead. Like, Sin Zhao, yeah, sure. He's got some decent defenses and he's got those 2 ruby crystals in his inventory. But I thought nowhere near enough health to survive that. Lives on a slither, but even still did force Pop to base, especially without QQR having ult. Those 3 grubs go over to Venomcrest, and because it's all 3, the mites will be spawning.
Exactly that. Another tier towards that feats right there is 2 objectives secured early towards Venomcrest. Also, more or less uncontested. Last one more so because of Pulp surviving on that slither of health. But I think Venomcrest is going to be very happy here. Yes, they're down about 200 gold, which is all rating off that first blood. But having those 3 grubs is so strong as the game scales, because you'll get to the point where if you get an ace or get any kind of side lane push going, it's enough damage to really put these towers to work, especially on Cassante. Cassante doesn't inherently have a lot of damage through building tank items to these towers, but now with 3 grubs, this guy's going to be very happy.
And don't forget, Venomcrest also do have a dragon, so that's a lot of invisible gold just in their stats, right? They gain that extra attack speed and ability haste, which will matter, especially on champs like Orianna and pushing out the wave.
Yeah, and it's a good dragon too. It's a hex dragon, right? It gives you the attack speed, it gives you the CDR, like it's the stats you want for a bit earlier. We'll have to see, like, it's going to be more interesting once we know what dragon's going to be on the Rift. Next dragon's spawning about 2 minutes, that Cloud. And it's also a potential, like, when you see Cloud, it's a great chance that you could, like, give it up, and if you want to, because you don't necessarily need it. Galaxy is hovering
has
here
Glacial
in the mid lane.
Prison. It just came off cooldown, so was looking for a play there. Luckily, the QQR Zeta was in the area, so we weren't seeing a big brawl occurring in the mid lane. This Galaxy now basing. Don't think has enough gold for a Heart Steel, but at least another giant spell, that's for sure. As everything calms down a little.
Yeah, I think the game state right now is gonna be a bit more chill. Like, we've only had 1 kill, and that was more of a mistake. And that's what I think this is gonna be, a game of mistakes, where these teams are good. I don't imagine they'll go in, like, unless you have a situation like this. Like, they're gonna chase down Propaganda, but they'll just work it out. And that's how we're gonna expect it. It's gonna be a game of mistakes rather than a game of catches. Whoever makes the less mistakes this game is gonna come off the winner.
And that's very scary for champions like Pop and Zeta, who have to face check, and if they do get caught, have to blow incredibly valuable ults, right? And Alistair without Unbreakable in a team fight is just a burger. Like, he is getting minced and beat down. Great damage onto Bust there from Akers, just being as annoying as Nod could possibly be. It's such an infuriating champ to play into.
Bust does have that pot and those biscuits, so he's going to be happy to sustain this up. I mean, Akker's building about a 2-wave CS lead, not surprising there. You know, though, if you're Akkers, you would have loved to have any grubs right here. They've gotten about 2.5 plates at this point, but those extra grubs would help them more. Well, going into the enemy jungle because it's a bit of fun, we'll get chased out by the side of there.
Both junglers now revealing themselves on this top side. Galaxy actually going in to contest these Raptors.
I like this, yeah.
Oh, so rude.
Nah, but you
Already
can
has
get
the
away with it.
Yeah.
Exactly that.
As we're now seeing, contestant around the dragon. I saw Zeta going in just for a bit of poke damage, but does take out the aftershock for about 20 seconds here. So we're just seeing vision being cleared out. Ultimate very close to being primed. Glacial Prison's coming up in just a second. Pulp taking a lot of damage from the dragon as he's walking away. Should be able to heal that off the Grom.
We're looking at these lanes right now. Air's already gotten the push in mid. Same goes for Skylark in the spot side. Like, Broad and friends, they've been forced out of this dragon. And you know what? Like, this is the last objective that Venom Crest need to get that stack to themselves completed. And it is looking like, I don't know if Broad and friends can get into it. Because, yeah, we'll see the Sejuani. They could easily start up this dragon. Pulp, you know it. They want to go in it. They want to fight something, but it's looking rough.
Zeta maybe caught in a rock, between a rock and a hard place here.
Here comes the TPs. Akker's TPing down. Pulp is there too. Zeta very tanky on this Alistar, using the Unbreakable Will to keep themselves alive. As now we have 5 members strong from Broad and Friends. Bust not using the TP left yet, as they are walking down. Here comes the TP. Proper Panda looking to get engaged. Does get knocked up, but Spark is CC'd. And a huge combo from Air does get everybody very low, but no one's dead yet. There's Shockwave from QQR onto 4, as again everyone dropping lower and lower, but no kills yet. Pulp securing the dragon. Now Broad and Friends on the trace. They're looking for something. Air drops low, and there's the second kill over to Broad and Friends so far this game, as now Venom Crest is on full retreat.
Wow, really important team fight there. The shockwave from QQR was gorgeous, and it was fight defining there. Pop winning the contested smite as well, delaying that feat, going over to Venom Crest for those boot upgrades. And now Pop even invading the Raptors that Galaxy took off of him earlier.
Yeah.
And wow, you know what? That one kill going over to QQR might have made all the difference in that fight, because he was able to enter that fight with a completed item. He entered with the Archangels, and it just meant so much more damage on all his abilities.
Yeah, for sure. And this isn't even stacked, right? It's at 338. It's very, very close to getting over. And I mean, this Orianna pick is already looking great. And it's something that Venom Crest, they need to respect, right? You can group up and get Shockwave like that this early. No one died. It's fine. You do that in 10 minutes from now, in 20 minutes from now, once Orianna has 4 or 5 items, you're all dead. You're getting one shot. So it's these mistakes that I like to see early, because you can make them now, you cannot make them again later, and we'll have to see if they can start respecting it a bit more.
I think that fight was also, it showed a lot of the issues that come with Venom Crest comp, which is they only have 2 damage dealers, right? Air got a really nice ult off, but Zeta just played goalie and booted the ball away over the wall, and suddenly only Skylark was able to hit, and just no one was falling because of it.
I really agree, Propaganda, with that engage. It was everything you would have needed, but maybe not enough, as even here we're seeing Air forced to flash away. But Broad and Friends putting their attention towards it. They're gonna look for the dive here. I feel like this is a very dead Yone. He's not going to be alive for much longer. Let's see. He's going to try and take someone out with him. Even ulting the wave to clear that. It's going to make this dive very awkward for Blood and Friends. Zeta tanking up the tower. He's going to ramp up a few tower shots. We'll be able to walk out of that. But look top side. What happened there? Acker is nearly dead. And the Herald was secured.
Yeah, Herald's taken, which is going to be feat of objectives going over to Venom Crest, but feat of warfare goes to Broad and Friends. But using that Herald, Venom Crest are able to get those boot upgrades. Spark, look out! That's a moving Herald. And he's able to take it out, but an important second charge onto that tier 2 mid. Venom Crest are loving their current control over the map.
Yeah, the map control is definitely in their favor. The gold, not so much, but with these 2 towers, like, it's very interesting to see how they're about this 1,000 gold down, considering that is 2-0 towers. These 3 kills have been making a huge impact. As we even look at the farm ways, mid lane has a pretty good gap right there towards QQR. And this does feel like, you know, Broad and Friends, they need to maybe roll the ball a bit more here. They're happy to stale this, but they have to be a bit careful, because their gold lead probably isn't as big as they would like it to be right now.
We're seeing vision control going over to the top side. Oh, they might be able to collapse on Bust here. Oh no, I saw the TP being committed and thought maybe Broad make a play, but obviously they'd be exposing their mid-tier 1, tier 2 for that. So yes, just respecting Venom Crest's movement around the map instead. As we see Akers start a proxy here, just knows that Galaxy is bot side, so there's no real issue going past the tower. Zeta, getting a bit aggressive, ultimately just a bit of poke.
Yeah, you can be confident in that sense. They know where the rest of Venom Crest is. They
No
can
off the
step up
shot.
here. They will face check towards that as Spark gets knocked up, and we're gonna have to see if Zeta can heal them in any way. Cleanse used, but there's so many stun CC's
Still alive.
cooldowns being used. Spark able to flash out of that one. Zeta flashing away because as here comes the Gnar, chasing them down, looking to get someone, but no kills secured for either team, as both of these teams are playing at a knife's edge. But a great opportunity for Venom Crest right here because they only committed.
And once again, you got no damage, Venom Crest! You threw so much crowd control at Spark, the squishiest member of Rods, and it just didn't matter. Yeah, you got the Old Town, you got the Flash and the Cleanse, but ultimately, you were really looking for a kill there, investing so many ultimates. Luckily, Dragon is up soon, so you can wait for the timer of the Sejuani ult, you can wait for the Rakan ult to come back up, and then just look to force your way in. Galaxy getting spotted here. Dancing around this Dragon has begun.
Yes, and we're looking at TP's bus topside on this Cassante does not have it available, so if Akers chooses to TP down, that will give some kind of numbers advantage. As look at the aggression coming out here. Flash force for Skylark because Pulp was about to connect that spear. And now with another summoner trade, this is a great opportunity for them to potentially look to pick up this Mountain Dragon, because getting those free resisted stacking is going to be absolutely
Akers now coming in as Mininar. The TP dropping. Air is on the flank. But no, Bust is just saying, I want to get damage on this tower. We can force down the mid tier 2 as well. The Xayah has such good wave clear.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they just don't have the pressure. They don't have a gold lead where they can force themselves into a situation where they're hitting that tower. Instead, just doing the mighty Dragon for Raptor trade in the end.
Yeah, Blood and Friends need to be careful about this because leaving Cassante topside, sure it's a Cassante, but he does have all the grub stuff he could want, and the split push is strong enough that it's something to be reckoned with. Yeah?
I will apologise. I thought Cassante had TP in that fight. It makes a lot more sense why Venom Crest just decided to keep him topside, as he had no other option to stay topside. Okay, so yeah, Broad and Friends cooling down for a numbers advantage makes a lot more sense. Why Venom Crest made the macro decisions that they did.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to pick that fight 5v4. It's a bit overconfident if you do.
Oh, absolutely not.
Instead, we will get Air trading onto Akers here, but we can go for more. This has been a... You know what? I was kind of expecting a few more kills this game. Like, we've only had 3 kills in 20 minutes. And as for our Four Nations game so far, I think this is one of the lowest kills in all. And it's not even like one of those games where it feels like it's going to explode at any point, because we've had lots of really good fights so far. But these teams are just playing good League of Legends right now and just not dying when they don't need to. So it's fun to watch just these players just play very, very nicely. And both sides just have been looking absolutely fantastic. Because even look at the gold, right? It's dead even at 0 to 3 kills.
And yeah, it's really nice to see this controlled, patient teamwork coming out. Venom Crest being very clever on finding those picks in this jungle. Broad and Friends sticking together and providing the buddy system. As I'm saying that, Pop walking straight into Bust. I don't think it's going to matter. Bust actually might be caught.
Could be the breakout fight as Pulp is getting dropped very low as the CC lock works out. Now they turn their sights on the Spark. The cleanse already used, but Zeta has been killed, and that's 2 members of Broad and Friends dead. And now Venom Crest is going to look for more. A good engaged shockwave through onto Spark as the shockwave is huge, but it's not big enough as that is 4 members dead from the side of Broad and Friends. Triple kill to Skylark.
And you were saying, hey, not much has happened, not many kills have fallen. We instantly see 5 kills drop down here. Overall in favor of Venom Crest, and now they are going for the brand new Thorn-bound Atakan. And this Atakan is nuts. No, you don't get plants spawning anymore around you. No, you don't get a revive. What you get? Enemies actively exploding when you kill them. It's so good for these team fights because you're able to swing off of one single takedown. It's really strong, and obviously you still get the boost of all other petals that were around the map that the old ruinous Atakan used to have.
I'm just happy you don't have to play the mini game of pick up all the petals anymore, right? When you kill the Arcan, just all the petals on the map get picked up.
From
Nothing's picked
Galaxy.
up.
Picking up that unending despair as well. Big items coming through now for Venom Crest. Skylark on his way to his third item, looking like an Infinity Edge, so he's going to hit like a truck in this team fight, just playing these front two backs.
Yeah, this damage coming through from Skylark this game, I think it's just so good. Like,
Right.
this Zaya pick has been
I don't know if I can't hear W right now, or if
I'm
W
pretty
has
sure
been
you
sent
can.
to the void. But in any case, I'm sure someone will ping me if I'm speaking over W constantly. Until W's return, you're stuck with me, so if you don't like my voice, unlucky. As we're seeing now, port clearing around, just clearing out some vision as both teams stabilize. Galaxy going quite deep in now, looking for QQR. Oh, you're
Yes,
back.
exactly.
Hello.
I was here. I don't know what happened, but it's all good. You hear me now, which is fantastic. And we're looking, speaking of things that aren't fantastic or are afraid to the side of Venom Crest, QQR gets taken down on a pick right there. And that is such a nice pick to get, especially since Dragon spawning in about 40 seconds. And it's been a slow Dragon game, right? No team has been stacking too many right there. But that will be a great opportunity now for Venom Crest to start stacking towards that soul point.
Yeah, really important picks. Right there. I feel like maybe Zeta could have traded a kill there. I think if he just used the Pulverize onto Galaxy, maybe the tower would have done all the damage, but Bust wasting Aftershock and Pathmaker here.
They're looking for something topside, picking up the towers. Now it's just a Cassante versus the world. This is a very tanky boy, and he's putting all his damage onto Akers, but it won't be enough as they're getting chased down. And Spark getting that kill, putting themselves with their first kill on the map. However, the rest of Venom Crest are here. They're not going to let Pulp take away too much of this jungle for free. But you know what? We can give it up, because look at Galaxy. They're picking up this dragon in the
Yeah. It's quite an interesting macro decision here. Deciding to invade topside to force down these towers. Rod and friends have just decided, you know what, we've already got 2 dragons, they've only got 1. Let's try and make a trade across the map. Air getting some decent damage down. Spark absorbing some tower shots, but overall the tower is going to fall to Broad and friends.
Do pick up a nice tower there. Are behind on gold ever so slight. You know what? It's not even worth saying when it's only 200 at this point. 41k for each team. As these gold differences don't make that much of a matter when it's this close, but it all comes down to how are these team fights being executed. And it's the CC layering from Venom Crest that I'm loving to see. Spark with the cleanse has been able to survive it once, but in the last fight when Wolf died, it was because he just got bounce pound around and could not move. So if that keeps happening from Venom Crest, it'll look very, very strong as Baron has now spawned.
And it's funny that you mentioned the bounce house, because I was just about to talk about the crowd control from the side of Venom Crest. You rarely see a team where all the damage is AD. The enemy team goes straight, never mind, QQR getting caught.
QQR stunned up, is able to get away because there's a lot of Broad and friends there to back them up. Zeta knocking Galaxy towards the tower, but this is a hugely tanky Sejuani. Will slowly be taken down as that is a nice pick towards Broad and
Baron's
friends.
open.
They're gonna have to look for this Baron.
I'd be very surprised if they don't at least give it a bit of a sniff here. Propaganda and Skylark feeling safe, but Akis has the flash.
It's the TP from Oriana. Akers with the flash ultimate onto 2, but this Zaya so tanky
nice
flash
by
forward from Zeta looking to dive down, but they cannot take it down yet. They get the kill. Akers under tower will die to that tower shot as Air comes in looking for something, but doesn't quite enough damage to take down anyone besides Zeta. As a good few kills pick up for Broad and friends, but at the sacrifice of their top towers.
Yeah, losing that bot tier 2, that's a lot of gold going over to Bust. Sure, but you know what? Those kills must feel great for Broad and friends here. Really love that play overall from Broad. Like, the coordination for Zeta to loop round while Akis is calling, I'm gonna flash Narden into the wall, like we just tower dive, it's really pleasant to see.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like, that Alistair was just great to watch, following down Ragnarok under the tower, getting as much CC as they could. Looked absolutely fantastic. And now Venom Crest opting in to start the Baron themselves, more so probably just to draw Broad and friends in, as they are spotted away on that blue ward. This game, it's been a pretty banger so far. I don't know about the
Yeah, it's
people
tense.
watching, but yeah, it's tense. There's a lot on the line in this game. You can feel the energy and the passion.
I'm feeling it, but what I was going to mention is earlier, before that play happened in the top side, is you rarely see a team where all your damage realistically is on a Yone and a Xayah, and the enemy team are forced to build 3 Merc Treads instead of placing Steel Caps, because there's so much goddamn crowd control, and Mercs are the best tenacity item in the game for their price point.
The other day, I remember seeing a game where we saw 5 Merc Treads being picked up. Like, you know what? Like, it happens sometimes, and I respect it. The damage profile, though, is scary, especially because the amount of auto attack damage focused from this Yone and this Xayah. Yes, Xayah has the feathers build they can pull back, but when we see the items have right now, they're kind of opting in for a bit of everything as they are looking to take down Akkers on the side lane. Very nice pick for Venom Crest.
We saw Galaxy using that Glacial Prison in bot side. Now Bust is going to push in the wave, but I was wondering if Rod and Friends saw that opportunity maybe to just try and slam out that Baron while they had the smite. Then Bouncer here. Rod and Friends looking a bit lost. They bounce around mid lane, now they're scouting the Baron. They're just sticking together. But they're losing so much gold across the map.
Yeah, they seem to be waiting for Venom Crest to do something that they can react off. They're not playing proactive right now, and they're waiting to do something reactive. But Venom Crest aren't doing those like proactive plays right now. Sure, they made the kill bot lane onto Akkers, but there's no one else there, so that's an easy pickings for them. Dragon now spawning in 40 seconds will be the third for whichever team secures it. This is where I think things will get interesting, because whichever team does pick this up will get the tempo going towards them for that point. And it's to the point where we're seeing the entire broad roster top side right now, and they're looking to secure vision on this Baron instead.
Yeah, has teleport, but he is currently top side. Seemingly looking, standing in a bush, it seems like, trying to catch someone out. Now going to move downwards. QQR facing down side of Venom Crest.
Looking for something, but again, it's like you spoke before, the lack of force fight from the side of Broad biting them right now as Akkers goes mega, but there isn't a Chime 12 for him to use it. They are pinging towards this dragon now, which is something that looks like Spark sitting it up. But yeah, look at top side. Air is taking down this tower. Akkers forced to move over there, and now the rest of Venom Crest is moving to the Baron.
Yeah, Spark deciding to solo down this dragon. It's a pretty good idea if Rod and Friends are confident that they can slow down a Baron take. I think with an Orianna they definitely can. And now, yeah, Venom Crest prioritizing vision over that third dragon. As Galaxy just pops in and says hello to Paul.
Side, we're getting a bit of a 2-level difference fight here, as now there's a few more members for the side of Venom Crest looking for Akkers if they overstep, but they will respectfully play under their tower. I do like that Broad and Friends were able to secure that dragon for free. It gives them that opportunity, but now looking at the Baron, it's been started up. Proper Panda has a really good flank position right now. Broad and Friends split up. Baron dropping to 3k. We're going to have to see if they go for the smite fight, but never mind, they're going for the fight. The shockwave doesn't connect, and with that, Hope has been slain. They're looking to clean up this fight. Air going in onto Spark, who's flashing away. Baron eventually secured by Galaxy, and now it's for Venom Crest to look if they want to fight or run away. As it's not going for anyone there. QQR is running out of mana, being chased down by Bust, but here's Zeta CCing up for a moment, as this could be a great fight for Spark. Double kill over towards them as they're looking for more, but I think they've run out of gas, as that is the end of this fight.
What a fight! Evolving around this Baron pit. Venom Crest looking for a bit more. Gonna take that tier 2 and try and pop down Spark, but Spark sends out a Void Seeker in reply. Okay. I hope... I don't know if we have replays on right now. My understanding is that we do, so I'm sure the desk can break this down in much more detail. But wild fight. Both Akkers and Proper Panda were looking for a flank in the same place, so they ended up just ulting each other, I believe, over the side of the wall, which meant Gnar wasn't involved in this fight, which matters a lot more than Rakan.
Yeah.
And yeah, Porp just found himself stuck in a slam town of crowd control and Xayah damage, and QQR really wasn't able to find a ton of damage in that fight.
And on that side, Zeta on the Alistar was playing this champion to its maximum limits, going in whenever they had the cooldowns available and just playing it fantastically. Like, we were talking about Alistar picks before, this is what you almost expect to see, as now we've sent a bunch of people top bot side towards this very tanky Cassante. I don't think it's a kill you can pick off, as now Broad and Friends need to focus on defending versus this Baron, not dropping too much gold, because in the 2 minutes, it is a potential mountain soul for them if they can pick it up.
Absolutely. The gold amassing to the biggest difference we've seen all game, actually, and that's simply just 3,000, which seems wild now as Akker's about to come out of Mega. But has QQR here to back him up.
Baron TPing Bust over to help secure this tower, as we will have nearly all 5 members there. Only Skylar waiting for a stun combo onto Spark, who does have the Zhonya's to keep themselves alive, and maybe that's what they do. Ults out to buy some time as they have taken down Proper Panda. Zeta knocks Bust under tower, knocks back 2, but it's not enough, and now we can look at Spark cleaning up this fight. The feather pullback is huge, does actually kill off the AD carry, as QQR is the last carry left standing, as Air has a phenomenal fight and cleeds Broad 1 by 1.
Holy moly! Venom Crest, what? Superb team fighting there. It started out with Galaxy getting that excellent Glacial Prison onto Spark. Spark using everything that in his capacity to stay alive just wasn't enough. The main damage dealer.
Ended engaging onto QQR. They do take down this Orianna. The minion wave is pretty low. Galaxy doesn't have a health bar, as they will only take down 1 tower. As Zeta is respawned here, it doesn't look like Venom Crest are going to win it here. Broad and Friends, they're hanging on to hopes right now.
Broad and Friends have no summoners anymore apart from an Alistar Ignite. Like, the next team fight, if they decide to contest this dragon, would be crazy in my opinion. I think Venom Crest are going to amass an even bigger gold lead. We just saw a 3.5k jump around that top side alone. I'd be shocked right now if Broad and Friends try and contest this dragon. Look, bot side, your entire wave is falling now. You're dropping hundreds of gold to maybe get this on a whim. Zeta has a flank here.
It's breaking both sides, but Spark was in the wrong spot. Forced to use the cleanse and their own ultimate to just keep themselves alive. Akker's not here yet, as they're defending against this inhibitor that's been taken down. And you know what? Good. Rod and Friends, they did not need to contest this right now.
We'll just push out topside, have the TP available in case maybe a flippy fight was occurring, and they said this is a 40-65, but we've got to take it. That inhib down on the top side, we're seeing Akker's really go ham on this top side super minion wave. Meanwhile, Venom Crest are just able to pick up all this jungle gold on the Broad and Friends side as they're starting the siege of the bot lane.
Siege will begin. They have managed to push out a significant distance in this top side, so they don't need to put too much attention there. But look at this amount of damage coming from Venom Crest here. They're able to push down this tower with ease using those drugs secured earlier, looking to set their sights for this inhibitor, as now we're getting engaged on the Galaxy. Akker's getting close to that Mega. They gotta be careful. Turns Mega. Bust already flashing out of there. Proper Panda going in. Does charm up Pulp as they're not dead yet. Akker's joshing in. Throwing 2 under tower, but the Zaya Feather Sword keeps them alive. Bust kills down Akker's. Akker's looking for nothing as they are now dead. A huge play from Air, and that's the ace for Venom Crest.
It's not QQR still up. He got completely zoned from the fight by Air. I don't think he can do anything.
I thought he was dead because that was just a huge fight, but fair enough. QQR does survive, but it's not going to be enough as Venom Crest take the win.
What a slow and incredibly thoughtful game until Venom Crest just seemed to explode onto the map around that Baron, and oh my god, I hope we have 3 more games like that today.
Took the kill lead, they had like a bit of it, but they couldn't get it going. You mentioned they didn't engage, and really that sealed the deal. They couldn't play proactively on the map, they could only play reactively, and from that Venom Crest just decided the tempo of the whole game only taking fights they wanted, and Broad just had to hope that, hey, when Venom Crest choose to fight us, we'll beat them just by being better. They did it once in that game, but that one time wasn't enough, and then Venom Crest are take the win.
Slightest of margins in those team fights as well. Like, that game could have exploded in Broad and Friends' favor.
Yeah.
Right, absolutely exploded in Broad and Friends' favor. Oh, wow. Oh, there's so much to break down, but I think we saw a lot of power from the new Atakan, though. I think the slows and the percentage HP damage that were coming out from those takedowns really swung the game, because Venom Crest, I said it earlier, lacking damage, but I think it's 15% current HP that the Atakan grants you on kills, AoE. It's just so much on top.
Yeah, for sure. It's a huge buff right now. It's a bit different than the last one, but you know what? If anything, it's better, and it just shows the power of when you do able to secure this. It's just great, and it's the team fight snowball rolling. Once you get those kills, the AoE slows and everything, it's just such a powerhouse pick. And yeah, with the situation that Broad put themselves in, unfortunately, they just couldn't get the map to their favor.
And okay, there was a lot to unpack there. I mean, banger of the first game, right? Absolute banger, and it really shows. Like, we were talking about the 4-1 contest. Now going to be 5-1 for Venom Crest, but I could see both these teams in the final, right? I wouldn't be surprised at all if we have games like that in a final.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, these teams, they're the better of our teams for sure. And like, we saw that right here. The start was just so textbook. It just worked out nice. And it was just everything we would want to expect from the top two teams. So yeah, great showing from them. And I would like to hope that it's not the last time we see these teams play each other, as we'll have to see how these teams finish their rankings and what happens in the playoffs.
Absolutely. Look, folks, great game. I think we all need a bit of a breather after that one. So we're going to go to a quick break and then have the desk break this whole thing down. So we'll see you soon.
Welcome back, everyone. And that was game one. Pretty fierce fighting, I think it's fair to say. Dobby, how's your voice, Dan?
I'm feeling good, I just got a minute to breathe between the games, have a quick drink, and yeah, it was, you know what, I thought it was going to be a slow burner, but I was wrong. It started popping off as soon as I said that.
Nick, we had some fun watching that. What was sort of the big takeaway here? Because we are going to see these two again in playoff.
Yeah, definitely. So it was kind of as expected. The early game definitely favoring Braun and Friends. Just a clean play in the early stage of the game. Just made sure that they didn't really get a gold lead, but they definitely got the kills on their favor until the 21-minute mark, where they somehow. I think it was the top laner getting caught out, and then they just exploded right on to. Brought on friends and just decimated them. Got the Atakan as well. First Thornbound Atakan of the split here.
Yeah, it looked fantastic. I think you're right. It's like the curse, right? You go to like 30 minutes against Venom Crest, and suddenly that machine just starts chugging away, and you cannot stop it the way we've been playing so far. So, game two. We've got a bit of a barn burner coming up. I've tabbed away from the thing I wanted to read. So I'm reading real good. Because I did just look it up, and I did just check all the teams already. Those teams being the Bandits and Bulldog Academy. Bulldog Academy having side select. Dovey, is this the one? Are they gonna do it?
Yeah. Every game day where Bulldogs play, it's the one. That's how it works. I will never doubt this team. Like they bring in the spice where like every game day is unique to them, and that's how I feel how it works. Like when I see them play, it's like this could be the one, and if it's not the one, then maybe next week. But this one right now could be the one.
Nick, it's your first time on the show. Are you aware of the law?
I only know the statistics of
It's okay.
Bulldogs
It's
Academy
okay.
right now.
Right, he's been prepping away. Team Vertex, fantastic team. Clung on with the acutest angle these last few splits. Resolved out of a tiebreaker, 7th, 8th, no, 8th last split, because now we have 10 teams, so I have to do maths in my brain. Avoiding the relegation tournament, and have stolen the hearts of our viewers at every angle. That is to say, they are having a bit of a struggle bus in this regular season, whereas the Bandits, finalists last split, some minor changes to the roster, but largely a powerhouse that is stuck down at 1 and 3. So someone will be getting a win today, but at what cost?
Our hopes and dreams of just Bulldogs getting a win, because like I like the way Bulldogs play. Like every team I'd say so far, they play a bit standard. They play like the normal league, and then you got Bulldogs who we're gonna pick Shen jungle, and I'm gonna take one camp and then level 2 gank mid lane. Like why the heck not? This is what you get from the Bulldogs. Whereas Bandits, we're gonna expect to see some more just like Lunka carry focused jungler. I mean, Elendil is also popped the heck off on Monday. This guy had what 7-1 kills. Like this guy had 1,000 gold kill damage per minute. Like Bandits have been looking very clean, and I really can't iterate more about how their current standings don't give them enough justice, because they had a rough start to the split against some top tier games, and now it's their turn to try and start win streaking.
All right, Nick. We're gonna pose this as like a conceptual question rather than a nameplate song question. Bulldogs have got a jungler that is just really good at the early game, really strong, plays Nidalee with thinking Canyon style of like, direct fight, direct impact on the game, and then sort of fades away, and it becomes that supportive role later on, because those picks can't quite do it all. We're not quite back in the day where gold efficiency in the jungle is like, hello laner. I hear you've been hitting the little creeps. I've been hitting the big creeps. And in this time, that's a weird position to be. I think it gets weirder on the patch because we can no longer jam Gwen. What would you be drafting if you're always leaning towards these tank tops, always leaning towards sort of a carrier jungle on the current path?
So like a carry jungle, I do think that Neferi should still be a very strong jungle pick. We're actually going straight into it. Great. Swap over to the pick and ban temple. But I would be looking for that. Of course, Nidalee, Lee Sin, jungles like that, they really get some early domination on the game. And if they really want to do that, I think like historically, specifically those two champions have always been strong. We have not really seen Lee Sin recently, but it's an
That's pretty good.
Ionian patch. So
I'm gonna color this, and Dubby knows where I'm going.
Okay.
We've had Seltzam on Italy and such in the last few years. That's how I introduced it to you. We're back to the Bulldog Academy roster we know and love of last year. Sharpie, known for their tanks. Heyo, or Harry Carey, as the account name is, we'll see. Famed for Corky Jungle,
Oh my gosh.
with a fantastic KDA. Is how Vertex won some of their games last split, as we are getting draft started right now. That first ban, seconds away.
Well, to be fair, I didn't actually catch any of the Corky Jungle because they never played it when
Man,
this team was in Div
we
2,
gotta get a
and I
highlight reel.
wasn't
We
there
gotta
for
get a
Div 1.
montage together. It was,
yeah, I want to see that.
Yeah, I kind of want to see it today too. If anyone's watching from Bulldog Academy, go on, give us a Corky Jungle because it's the kind of pick that, you know what, you want something chaos to bring you a win. Go on, Harry Carey, show us what you can do.
All right, with that in mind, crazy junglers starting to go missing as the bandits decide they don't want to play against Karthus. Crazy scenes.
Is that one of the
Harry Carey
junglers that Heyo
Yeah.
plays? Okay. I understand why, because I recently saw the one of the Gucci teams play a mean Karthus, and I was like, that's not a champion I want to face against.
Absolutely brutal. And I think changes to bloodletters in the future, I don't think they're ready yet. Freak's latest video was sort of hammering away on some of the inefficiencies and efficiencies of the AP itemization. And oh man, I don't want to go against a bloodletters Karthus that takes a while to go down, because that's going to be absolutely horrendous.
Thornbound Karthus pressing ultimate, and everyone explodes and everyone gets slowed. Oh no.
All right,
lot of
Kristan and Ban away. Otherwise, the craziest champions on the Rift. What are we looking at towards Blue 1 here? Is Mike's Heimerdinger the final target ban? Oh, no,
Sharpie's
you know what?
Urgot.
Logic's gone. Take it away, gentlemen.
Nah, it's Sharpie's Urgot. I do remember this guy from splits ago when this team was in Div 2. That was the pick. Sharpie
On
was...
Blue 1?
I was... not Blue 1, but it was just an Urgot pick this guy liked. So,
Okay.
if it's a first pick champion, definitely not. Is it a champion this player enjoys? For sure. Is it going to win them the game? We'll see in 30 minutes. So yeah, we'll have to wait till then.
It's hard to say as well, because Loopy, the bandits are an Urgot team as they lock in the Varus.
Yeah, Varus, very strong AD carry, has been for quite a while, very dominant in lane as well. So that does tell me that Elendil really wants to like get a early lead in the bot lane, and I definitely think he has the capabilities to do exactly that. I mean, W already mentioned it, going 7-1 in his previous match, and that was before the 10-minute mark, by the way.
Yeah. They only went more kills as the game went on. And we're getting interesting from bandits. We're getting a Sejuani pick. Now, Lunkafer, is it a Sejuani? Like, okay, to be fair, I touched on this last week when I spoke about junglers, and I said, how are we going to get the best jungler? Show us you can do both. Show us you can carry, show us you can enable. This is a great opportunity for Lunka to show, hey, I can take a step back. I don't need to be the carry today. I'm going to play the Sejuani and bring in just an enabling team. We've already seen that JB, Elendil, and Loopy have everything it takes to carry. So why not give them a turn, pick that up? Bulldogs now here going over to the Jhin pick, which I have seen a bit more. I think it's slowly rising in popularity, but could be a risk because it's very immobile against the Sejuani.
Yeah, did see some earlier on today in the LCK, and you know what? We also saw paired alongside it. It was Close's Azir, but Mike will be picking this one up all the same.
Yeah, I think it's a very interesting team comp that Bulldog Academy is going for right now, because it's really a big pink comp where Jhin locks them down. Of course, Urgot executes them, while Azir with a shuffle makes sure that someone gets pulled away from his team. And that means that bandits, they kind of have to draft into that to make sure that either they don't get picked or they can follow up if someone gets put away from them. So they really can do exactly that with the Talia. You know, the Weaver's Wall, making sure that the enemy can't just go on the offense out of nowhere because she puts a defensive wall in front of them. And that means that the bandits, I think, are very much reactive drafting right now.
I like it. Playing over those stones with all these characters, very difficult. You do have to, there is that threat. You have to keep the tempo up as Talia, though. I think if you start tickling people and not doing enough damage, threat does fall significantly. Braum taken away. We move into the second phase, but a long pause from the bandits at the start there.
Yeah, they got to really think about these bans because it's a great opportunity to kind of round off your comp. What do you not want to play about? What's strong right now? We're seeing Bulldog banning away this Rel pick, and you know what? It's a great pairing to get away because that's a lot of just. There's a lot of CC bandits can throw at you right now. Sejuani ultimate, Varus chains, you got JB can throw you into the minefield. Like, you don't want anything else that can easily be layered on that. And textbook example is like Rel jumping in with the Magnet Storm. Such good layering. Meanwhile, good ban from the bandits taking away the Braum because there's a lot of poke coming outside from the side of bandits. So you don't want Bulldogs to be able to pick up that Braum and get away with it, as we get a Poppy ban as well, giving no opportunity for Bulldogs to deny any kind of mobility.
Yeah, it's mostly that they're trying to ban out the disengagers like Poppy, like Braum, that really just they excel in a brawl where the enemy is going to initiate and he's just standing there like, all right, take me on. The thing, I think the big thing right now for Bulldog Academy is, okay, how are we even going to draft a disengage, or just going all in? They of course have a lot of range, but Nautilus being picked up for Kenny, is that going to tell me that they are indeed definitely going to play completely around bot lane? I do think so.
Yeah, pretty standard. I was thinking they were going to pick the Poppy themselves on 4. I think it kind of suits what the bandits are going for here. And she can, like you said, just bop away with an ultimate. That last pick, but it does invite the little bit of spice we've been holding on to. Harry Carey, that's a pick I've abused for a lot of elo this season and last, and it just got a fresh buff.
Oh, it did. True.
Like, I want to see this next pick because it could still be support, could be jungle, it could go both ways. Like, there's a lot of opportunity now. It's really going to come down to what this next pick is, as I'm just waiting
We're
for
on
it.
hooks. We're on hooks. But the
I like
Morgana
a bot lane right now, but it could go anywhere. Yeah.
is
Yeah,
very
never
good
mind.
into the Nautilus, but it's even better against the Sejuani. It's absolutely brutal.
Yeah, I was gonna say that Morgana jungle, I'm pretty sure got buffed this patch, right?
There was a black shield up, just because you don't rank it till later on anyway, so the level 1 going up is quite nice. And then the ult now gives you a touch more move speed to race around with, which is very appreciated. It's the biggest weakness.
Okay.
And if I was going to play mid lane into all of this, I think I'd be I'd want to play far away from the wave, and that's okay because it's top lane. It's the blue ones are R5 reversal here as we get Loopy's Dr. Mundo in.
I mean, I've seen a lot of Dr. Mundo. I've seen it in jungle. I've seen it in top side, all over from different teams this split. It's once looked great, it's once looked horrible, and that's just the Mundo kind of stat check champion. It's really just like, it's either like the champion that just runs you down with right clicks and you can't do much, or it's just the one that just isn't able to stack enough stats and can't beat you. Jhin, however, he doesn't have the mobility to necessarily outrun the Mundo through move speed alone is their only hope. And they're not known for being able to take down tanks, so this could be a nice game for this Mundo to just become very, very annoying. I mean, the tankiness from the Bandits comp right now is insane.
I'm thinking similarly. I was like, it's Mundo. Like, he's there. It's whatever. Sometimes you'll get a cleaver, and the chain of plays after make you really want to scratch your head and be a little bit sad sometimes. Nick, with this in mind, a Morgana Q, a Jhin W is not going to stop that Mundo. How are the Bandits playing this one out?
So I was thinking like, okay, Mundo is going to be definitely going to be a problem. How are the Bulldog Academy, how are they going to take the Mundo and down at all? And then I looked at the mid lane and I saw an Azir standing. And when Azir gets like the 3-4 items, I think he has everything in his kit to just shred down through the Mundo. The only issue being there needs to be an item that at least nerfs the healing factor from Mundo is ultimate. Because if he gets to pop that
I bring
uncontrollably, just
fresh
keeps healing.
news from the League Ops channel, from the back end that I can see in our tournament system.
Okay.
Sejuani top lane, Dr. Mundo jungle.
Okay.
Okay. I mean, it's still the same thing in that regard, but it's
similar.
definitely very spicy from the bandits. The Sejuani top lane, how is that going to fare against the Urgot? W?
I have no idea. I mean, I'm trying to think that out. Like, it's a very tanky champion. And I mean, Urgot needs to play it in a sense to like, get the Sejuani passive down so they don't have that initial resistances and then look to do some kind of all-in.
I wonder if it's going to be the Leandri's side lane menace that is just very effective with the teleport ignite combo, or whether it is just going to be, that Heartsteel is going to go ding every 30 seconds, big health bar. over here because that's kind of what Mundo wants at the same time. So it's a lot to play out.
Yeah, like I still do think that the Bandits, you know, with their team comp right now, they have a team comp that can basically do everything at the same time, but they won't excel in something per se. Whereas Bulldog Academy, if they get that Azir shuffle in and they get to catch someone out, they can instantly burst down whoever it is, lock him down with CC, and then just let Jin rain down the damage. So I actually think the under Bulldog Academy has some plays to this game.
All right, Nick, you feeling it? And I'm glad this is an exciting game. You know, I was not sure. I don't know if you guys like tune in for every LCK match, like I've been trying to do recently, and watch a bit more of the game. But sometimes you get a Fear-X versus Bro, and you switch the podcast on, and by that I mean you do nothing because the casters are just talking away, and you get a bit of a snooze fest. I was worried maybe we'd be on for a snooze fest, and now not at all. Not so much. Dovey, Nick is confident that the underdogs, the Bulldogs, the Academy, we're going to do some learning. They're going to get in there. What are you thinking?
It comes down to how this Morgana pays off as a jungler, right? They were known before to just be this jungler that could full clear incredibly fast, and just kind of out-tempo the opposing jungle through like clear speed. If they can get some good stuns there, the Morgana binds coming in huge. There's opportunity, but it's the Bandits here. I think the Bandits are coming on their hype. I know at the start I was talking about just the big Bulldogs fanboy that I am. But this draft, it might have gone a bit too overboard. I do like it. However, I think this is just, I don't favor the Jin that much. And with that, I'm going to have to apologize to the Bulldogs Academy. But I'm going to lean towards the Bandits.
We got one Bandit. We got one dog. And you know who else has got that dog in him? It's Rory B, who's going to be joined by Dubby in a second. Take it away, casters.
Oh no, I didn't like that. Didn't like that one bit. Oh dear. Oh,
you don't got the dog in you?
Yeah, okay, so I have a feeling Mundo Jungle pretty good into Morgana, who's Morgana. The primary thing she does is throw one ability and hold you down.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Like, there would be different. These junglers, you know, if I don't feel they're ever going to interact with each other. Like, they're just going to want to clear. Like, from there, that's kind of what I'm expecting. But I don't know. If anyone's going to invade, it's going to be an interesting showcase. But for sure, it gives both, like, power farm and scale up, one through health and one through AP.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's going to be really interesting, actually. We've got a lot of Heartsteel, possible Heartsteel stackers this game, but Heartsteel, bit of a rubbish item overall. So we've been seeing it crop up a lot in all levels of play. People actually favouring just to go like 4 giant belts into Warmogs instead of ever actually building Heartsteel. It's just not that good. It doesn't give enough stats. It doesn't do enough damage. You don't gain enough health from it.
No, overall, when I finish up thinking about this draft, it comes down to what's the biggest difference between the Bandits' last split and this split. It's the inclusion of Harold Hamhand. This is a Harold draft in a nutshell right now. I mean, when you have the Sejuani top and this Mundo jungle, it's something that maybe Lunkafer could kind of look a bit stronger on. Mundo does have that kind of go where you please mentality. It's not like the Sejuani, so it makes a bit more sense to put him on this champion. And I'm very curious about this top lane matchup. The Sejuani picked into the Urgot, that's got to be intentional, surely.
So, I've actually played a decent amount of Sejuani top.
Okay.
And yeah, I understand admitting that does get me like 3 to 5 years. But I want to see if the Sej goes Ignite, right? Because if it goes Ignite, you've got to be ready for that burst. You've got to be ready for the Arctic Assault into Permafrost, auto proc, immediate glacial prison to reset the permafrost damage. Like, she can easily burst at 50%. Basically any champion at level 6.
Yeah, there was that whole phase where there was like Sejuani top was just a meta, and it was like there was these combos you could use. Like, I know what Sejuani combo, this exists, but yeah, like there are wrong ways to play this champion, and it's nothing that you can just suddenly whip out. And it will be interesting to see how it works for sure. Now, mid lane, however, is going to be another. I mean, through and through, all these matchups are going to be interesting. But I'm also keen to see how this mid works out, because it was Azir, And Azir is just, it's a constant pick where you'll see it all the way through and through. So we're going to have to see how the rest pays off.
It is Mike's Azir though, and it's not. I'm never really impressed by Mike's Azir. Sorry, but it's never like high on my list of like what a player plays. Like you look at Loopy and you go, oh, that's an Urgot Shen player. I don't look at Mike and think Azir. I look at Mike and think Heimerdinger. Unfortunately, it's banned every game.
Yeah. No, I mean, the Heimerdinger was the classic, and I remember it came to the point where it was once, you know, if you don't ban it, lose. Now I think Div 1 has picked up a bit more. They've definitely beaten it a few times, so it's not like this completely undefeated pick. However, still a very, very confident one for them, and we won't see it much more often.
We have indeed spotted the Ignite on the Sejuani. Bit scary though. Very susceptible to Morgana ganks. Really only has the Arctic Assault, and that is on something like a 18-second cooldown until you put some points in it, and frankly, you're not putting points in it early.
No, it's exactly that. Not even second in some cases, depending on how you play it. As I like this early map movement from this side of Bandits. They will be spotted on a ward, so this is going to look like a very heavily split map. Harry Carry starting on their own on their blue buff. We'll have to see how exactly they pad, because sometimes they'll opt in to clear their own jungle before they look to invade. But right now, both junglers starting on the bot side of this map.
Yeah, we saw Kakashi then immediately walk up to, I think, try and pulverize those ranged minions. Oh, bad trades for Loopy there, getting destroyed by Sharpie. Hopefully that doesn't spell disaster for the upcoming lane. But yeah, Bulldog Academy spotting that maybe they have an in to try and get level 2 early, but no. Elendil and Kenny just cutting in and making things a bit difficult for them.
Yeah, they do have the priority in a bit, just through the rune setup as well. You see the Halo Blades over towards Elendil's Varus does mean they can just get a lot more auto attacks done, whereas Nectarios with the fleet will focus more on sustain. Now, look at these junglers right here. Lunka opted in to take 2 camps and move straight into
Really
top
nice.
side because Harry Carry didn't invade. It's almost like he didn't know. I don't even know what happened. Like, they definitely knew that they were getting invaded on, but this is a huge opportunity for Lunka to just get absolute farm priority as they even see Harry Carry moving there. And he's going to have to force an invade, but he's not in a position to. Look at this bot lane. They're really scared him out.
Yeah, bang on. The bot lane are already moving. They're not going to cover this bot side for Lunka. Lunka's huge right now. It's going to, by the end of this clear, have a 3-camp advantage at least, because Mundo clears single target camps so quickly because his cleavers do a ridiculous amount of percentage current HP damage to monsters. So they're chunking for about 450 on the first hit. It just means, even though Morgana's a fast clearer, yes, you're not as fast as this guy.
I mean, it's hard to be a fast clearer when all your camps are already gone as well, as we'll see Lunka level 4 to level 3 able to take their wolves there. Harry Carry will be able to get a Scuttle Crab right there after, you know, we'll ignore the miss on that binding. But yes, Lunka 4 is going to have such great tempo right here.
That's missed damage on the bind, but also you don't hold the crab in place for your tormented ground.
Yeah.
So, yeah, crab is much slower here. Doesn't seem to have mattered that much. Harry Carry just investing the smite there to clear it up. Lunka should be able to get the second crab without really any contest, has the level advantage.
Ooh, bot lane, a fight coming out. Piercing Arrow charging onto Nectarios. And they will trade back and forth. And once these health bars drop lower and lower, then we're at risk for something happening bot side. Because we do have a cleanse over to this Jhin. Doesn't have the most value till level 6, once you have to be scared about the Varus Chains or the Glacial Prism from the side of Loopy. But in lane, it's going to be a bit more interesting, and that could be a great opportunity for Bandits to look for something early. I like Harry Carry getting an invade here, but look at Lunka. They're on the Raptors. That's a respawned Raptors as well. So that's just extra XP and gold going over there.
Like, significantly more XP as well. And Lunka now stating around, I think he's going for his own Raptor reset as well. So he's going to be catapulted ahead in terms of XP here. As Harry Carry, yeah, sure, is able to claim the wolves and the Grump here. But let's take a break. Only a 400 gold lead, right? We're hyping up this jungle XP difference a lot, but ultimately it's not that much gold. We're seeing both junglers on the top side. Neither have really postured around this dragon, but with the bandits getting a recall out now, and Lunkerfer, I wouldn't be surprised if they're going to make a beeline straight to this Cloud Dragon.
Yeah, it's a nice one to pick up. I'm curious about how come Kenny's moved up to topside here. I mean, they could look for Sharpie. The knockup is connected, but they will be able to dash away, as I believe Sharpie will be able to walk out of that one. And it's, you know what, I guess Kenny does have some kind of timer on the map to look to be there. Elendil can easily pick up this bot lane wave on their own, and it doesn't look like they'll pressure any kind of dragon, so Kenny will just happily hang around there, even actually forcing Magpie up on this Alistair to help them out as well.
Yeah, Magpie just going to shadow Loopy here, but immediately going to recall off of that. So quite a bit of wasted time overall, brought by Kenny's pressure. And Blunkfoot, yeah, just clearing through. Didn't get the greatest buy in the world. Like, it's nice to have a lot of HP, but you know, nothing significant compared to Morgana speeding up their clear speed with the Fated Ashes.
Elendil on their own, Harry Carry missing the binding, as Elendil does a great move and sweep there, yeah. No boots on this Elendil either.
I was trying to predict the backstep, right? So I completely respect the binding going wide there, but yeah, Elendil just dancing around Nectarius's Deadly Flourish.
Looks like Dragon will easily be picked up as Lunka is able to smite that away. Now, one thing I would be very keen on seeing this game is the Swifties first picked up for Nectarius, right? If you get the feats of strength secured, the new upgraded Swifties gives you adaptive based on your move speed. That could be such an interesting stat for Jhin, who gets a lot of move speed inherently through their passive and through their auto attacks. That could be a crazy amount of damage potentially. As Faulty opting in to flash forward, engaging onto this JB Talia. They will try to flash over the wall, but they're getting stunned for 3 years, and that's first blood over to Harry Carry.
Oh dear, JB not investing that flash there and really getting punished for it. Bulldog Academy gave the first blood of the game. Sharpie.
Ooh.
Oh, falling low, but so is Loopy, and Loopy can be executed by that Fear Beyond Death from that Urgot. Sharpie doesn't have TP, so he's going to have to spend the long walk back.
She doesn't quite get the pulverized combo onto Elendil. Harry Carry spotted out in their jungle, being chased down by this Mundo. Lunka could use the ultimate for the move speed to run Harry Carry under tower if they so choose. Won't go for it anymore, as they are just tanking these cleavers. We'll have to see if Lunka commits towards taking this blue buff or not, as they are walking away, and Harry Carry can just heal off this wolf camp.
Yeah, it's important to remember Morgana's passive gives. Ooh, nice fight.
Oh, Kenny getting hooked and stunned up under tower, dropping very low. Catchy forced to flash away, but the ignite will take them down, and that is a kill going into the pockets of the bandits.
Curtain Call maybe coming out, but no, actually Nectarius just backing off. Really nice fighting there from bandits, and on the top side, we're seeing all these grubs fall. Lunka doesn't have smite, but neither does Harry Carry, so can't steal it away very easily.
Will pick down. JB forced to flash away from that binding that would have definitely connected. Lunka flashing over the wall as well, as they do get all 3 grubs at sacrifice of their 2 flashes. But we saw last game, Rory, how strong these grubs were, right? That is incredibly worth it, if you ask me.
Yeah, absolutely. Big CS lead towards Lunkerfer right now. That's 20 CS, that's what, 4 camps?
Yeah.
So a lot of XP. You can see that he is a level up. No items getting close to being completed now. I have a feeling a lot of these laners are sitting on a lot of gold. I haven't seen this mid lane base very recently.
Not
JB
sure.
now just equalizing the wave. Very happy with that. And honestly, I'm waiting to see what this Talia does.
It doesn't need to do anything quite yet. Talia is a champion, and when we've seen JB play it before, Elendil got incredibly fed, and Talia was just played as like an enabler, using their ultimate to cut off escapes, using the minefield to like zone out areas, and like that's what Talia can be played. They don't necessarily need to be proactive. If you're winning elsewhere, you aren't exactly winning extremely anywhere elsewhere outside of just CS gaps in this jungle, in this bot lane. But it's for sure a place where JB can be comfortable as long as they keep up these fights nicely. Meanwhile, bot lane Nectarius must have gotten caught out as Elendil gets a kill for themselves. Now they're looking for Catchy, and they will be able to take them down with the auto attacks. giving the feats of warfare to the bandits.
And Big A, it's not 7-0, but Elendil's pretty damn fed right now as we're seeing a bit of trading in the top side. But my god, this is ultimate. Oh my god, it's going for the solo kill actually.
Loopy actually getting the kill there. Sharpie not ready for the damage as Harry Carry lands the binding. But this tanky Sejuani, with all the damage they could ever want, getting that kill. You said it before, this Sejuani pick is looking stronger than I expected.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, 50% burst. I was expecting just 100% burst onto Sharpie there. I don't think Sharpie had a good understanding of how much damage Loopy could do either, to be honest. That Ignite over the top really helping out secure that kill.
It's also an interesting build. They have a serrated Dirk on this Urgot and the Phage, and it's looking like lots of options. It's, uh-oh, that's a flashless Jhin. Here comes the wall, and this is how I like seeing JB on this Talia. Just locking people down, not letting them escape, and getting an easy kill picking. And this is a great game from the Bandits so far.
Harry Carry taking the opportunity to push into that top side, knowing that JB has gone bot. We're still away a few things, but Kenny looking to get a bit spicy here, actually.
Kachi actually going in to chase down Kenny, but there's more members from the Bandits there as they are chasing down this Alistair pick. He's trying to dodge out whatever he can, but the chase potential
Nice
for Mundo
hook.
is huge. A hook onto Mike will put them in danger as they try to shuffle them away, but the Mundo passive keeps him in place, and that's a double kill for Lunka. Topside, however, Loopy will get taken down.
Yeah, honestly, you're taking this trade for the Bandits, though, every day of the week. Able to pick up so much, ultimately. Champions and a Dragon going to further their stacking here. And I will mention Lunkafer able to get a decent amount of hardstyle stacks for a jungler so far. Normally, you do see champions like Sejuani go Heartsteel, and they have like 2 procs by 20 minutes, and you're like, oh, what was the point of this buy? But no, Lunkafer, just being so far ahead from the beginning, is able to throw his weight around and be involved in a lot of fights.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this Mundo pick, once it gets the rolling, it can really take over a game. And they haven't even finished their jungle smite yet, but once they get the loose speed from there, they can just be so mobile on this map.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Mundo really is the champion that goes where they please. Like, it is their quote, but it's because it's just so true. And this comp from Bulldog's Academy doesn't really have the tools to run away from it because Mundo has that passive that will block the first CC proc. Yes, you have Black Shield, but that Black Shield will block 1 cleaver and then it's gone. And at that point, it's just run away from this big scary tank. And we'll have to see how they can get back into this because Bulldogs aren't out of the run yet. They have a kill on their jungler and they were able to take down Loopy. So it's a good, they have opportunities, and this Morgana pick is the kind of pick that can shred down these tanky champions.
Ooh,
We're seeing it there.
not picks.
Yeah, we're seeing it right there. They look for Lunka, who steps into a place they don't need to be, and that's another pick over to Sharpie.
Yeah, Sharpie gonna be very happy with that cash injection here. Loopy just playing defender here, but Mike's around. Sharpie has the fear beyond death, but no, he's gonna feel a bit too low, and is gonna be forced away. Doesn't have that TP to join. Actually, no, gonna stick around.
Was a nice bind onto Elendil as even the depth charge is dropped onto Harry Carry there to just zone them away. They'll be able to walk out of that one and trying to get any damage they can. Meanwhile, JB is spotted away by these Jhin traps, so they won't be able to get a pickings there. As Notarius is happily catching these waves, and we will see an objective spawning topside very soon. It's about 1 minute till this Rift Herald is on the map. Look at Faulty and Kachi. They could look for something here. They're gonna go in and force a fight, knocking Elendil around. Tower getting tanked up by Carry, but here comes Harry Carry on the side. Chains do connect, as Elendil did flash away from that. They haven't been killed yet. Side set on Kenny, as this very tanky Nautilus will try to run away, but is not being killed, people. Can we take down this Nautilus? What have we done? Mike got killed on the mid side. Elendil does get sniped by Sharpie and gobbled through there, as now Loopy is forced to try and run away as they are so tanky. And here comes Lunkafer to chase Harry Carry back to their jungle, but a nice wall by JB does force Harry Carry to flash, but it's not enough.
What was that fight? It looked so good for Bulldog Academy, but unfortunately they just didn't have enough damage to finish off Elendil. He had the barrier and the flash to keep him alive. And Luffy's looking pretty big right now. That's all I'm going to say about that matter.
The Sejuani pick is paying off. You can see the Sunfire completed first, just giving them a bit of extra just aura damage, but also just helping push waves down. And it's going to be very strong on this potential side lane, especially with these 3 grubs. Cannot give all the credit there, because Sharpie was able to snipe down Elendil. They have 3 kills and have completed a Yunu's Ghostblade onto
Yeah,
this.
pretty standard for Urgots.
Okay.
Realistically, when you look at Bulldog Academy's comp, you go, we're so short-ranged. How are we ever getting on top of a Varus and a Talia? Sometimes the Urgot just has to bite the bullet and go Ghostblade. It really means that you don't have to invest your flash to go for like a flash disdain gambit at the beginning of every fight.
Yeah. Okay, that works then. He's going to be very mobile on this map and can try and match any split pushes. But honestly, I want to give some credit to JB this game. Their Talia walls have looked so good. They've been everywhere they needed to cut people off, and they haven't even stacked this tier yet. You can see that Archangels on 329 stacks. They are about to come online so much stronger, especially once they complete Leandries. As honestly, we're going to need some more tank shredding items from Bulldog Academies right here. Because look at how huge these health bars are. Faulty forced to use their own ultimate to get themselves to escape. This game is looking a bit rough, as even bot side has been dropped.
Heavy now going for the shortest charge I've ever seen with the Rift Herald as Lunket pushes forward. Are we going to see another play for the Herald? No, and no, it's just going to get taken out by Nectarios as Bandits now do a tactical retreat back towards the Dragon. Sure, Mike has the TP to join a fight if one is to occur, but doesn't have that ult, which is so influential in these fights. I wonder if Bulldog Academy are actually just going to give up this third Dragon, but then you're putting yourself on a very short timer.
Yeah, they're gonna have to. I mean, from where they're playing on the map, only Harry Carry is there, and it's gonna be a situation where, you know what, he can drop the Tormented Soil there beneath it and hope that's a miracle enough to steal. There's no way he's getting over to this pit. And looking at these dragons, you got an Ocean Dragon, a Chemtech, and a Cloud. Like, the Bandits are gonna be so happy with this, especially if they get this Ocean Dragon. Like, this Mundo character pick is gonna become so ridiculously tanky with all that extra healing.
Yeah, crazy amount of tankiness. Obviously, at 16, Mundo gets even more out of his ult because he gets an extra 5% healing on it for every nearby enemy. I don't think this game is going to go on to a bit when Lunket gets to 16 because Bandits are 5k in the lead and 3 dragons up. But it's going to be monumental, and the issue with Bulldog Academy being so poor is that, oh, never mind, Elendil is actually getting caught.
There's a binding there coming in clutch, and you know what? This might be the lead, not the lead, but like that's the situation Bulldogs need to get back in, right? Get these picks.
Easy picks, but what I was going to say is Bulldog Academy are so poor right now that they don't have the anti-heal and they don't have the tank shredding. Loopy now, about to find himself in a 2v1.
Like Artachi there using the ultimate to deny that CC, as they will get gobbled up. A shutdown going over to Sharpie, as now Magpie can recall here to try and help defend the base. But those are 2 kills over to the side of Bulldogs Academy. Bandits should not have given away for free.
Yeah, they're very easy kills to get as well. Like, one of them was just we run down an overextended Zhuani. Like, there wasn't any more thought to it than that.
Yep.
A bit more went into catching Elendil, but overall it was really nice. What I will mention is I'm a bit confused why Elendil has gone to Cyrilda's second. Generally, you're seeing a Yomu's Ghostblade second to give Varus that much needed mobility. That champion, especially into like a Morgana and a Jhin that you really want.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of opportunities. There's poke Varus build. As long as the item has lethality, I think you're happy.
Yeah, you just have a tick box.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't have lethality, check. The slow, it could be something that will help get some kind of follow-up. But
I think the slow is bait as hell.
Yeah, I have to
It's
agree.
under 50% HP, like, come on now.
Yeah, it's an interesting choice, but you know what? With the amount of move speed they have, they can maybe make the most of it. Because you're gonna, if you slow people, you can run them down easily, and that's what this comp wants to do. As I want to see what's gonna happen in the spot lane. Sharpie has managed to get some kills onto Loopy with help on their team, but how much will they favor it on their own? Because they are gonna try and chase down Loopy, not securing much. But look at topside, Atakan on the Rift is getting secured by the Bandits.
Dear Harry Carey dropping the blue trinket now will spot out this Atakan take, but it's too damn late. Bulldog Academy too busy basing all together and then posturing a bit in their jungle. Just mean Bandits just steal it away for nothing. Didn't even break a sweat with that decision, and it's Thornbound, so it's so important in these fights.
Bandits, true to their name, just robbing every objective on this map at the Bulldogs Academy. They aren't contesting it, which is fine when you start off the game. Don't contest objectives if you can't win them. But you're also just slowly losing it at this point. And now with this soul spawning in 1.5 minutes, like, if Bulldog Academy give that over, they may as well just, the game's over at that point. They cannot do anything more, yeah.
I feel it's a bit weird because we're using language like stole away. But frankly, if you walk into a bank, the vault's open and a pile of money with a sign saying free samples is there.
It's not stealing.
Is it stealing?
No, it's not. It's not. It's free samples. It says take this, please. So that's kind of what we're seeing here. But it's also that the Bulldogs, they're not in a situation to be able to take these. They're not setting up the vision, and they're also just lacking behind and ever so slightly gold. But you cannot get away with it every time. There's a point where you need to go and take the contest. And now with only 44 seconds left, we're going to have to see if they can get some vision around that area. But instead, we're seeing the Bandits doing that, gaining all the vision they could ever want, as Munka can just charge into this jungle. He doesn't care. He doesn't need to care. He can just get away with anything. He's getting hit by 3, but it does not matter. This is a Mundo, and he goes where he pleases.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, he's just walking. Not a care in the world. He's got the Hawaiian shirt on, which is actually very thematic for the weather that we're having in the UK right now. Absolute scorching weathers for this time of the year. JB just fully controlling this choke. How are you going to walk in? That's a 2-item level 15 Talia. That's 3 levels above your Jhin. Like, if he walks in, he's getting popped.
Yeah, you're going to see Kachi there already. Magpie on this Alistar. They are about 3/4 health. Dragon already has started, and this is a fight where if you're Bulldogs Academy, it's your do or die moment. Harry Carey flashing over, doesn't get the smite as this Alistar is knocked up and bounced around. Will do whatever they can to buy some time for their team, but that's 2 kills instantly over to the side of the Bandits, as now they can move towards this mid side.
I've got to feel like if the call from Harry Carey is, I'm flashing over, you don't stand by the wall and watch him while you're like just seated on the bleachers. You just go, all right, good luck. If they're flashing over the pitch, because it doesn't really matter about the fight there. But I feel like Magpie didn't have to fall, and they're gonna lose mid tower and bot tower for taking that fight. Bulldog Academy, you've got a very big gold lead to climb your way up, and I just don't know if they can do it with the Archangels now online, with the Thimble Winter coming up for Loopy, which means he can win a lot more trades in the side lane.
Yeah.
Bandits are looking solid across the board.
I mean, the Bandits can just wait this game out at this moment with Baron spawning in about 1 minute. Sure, they can play aggressive, and they could very likely win without it, but having a Baron in your pocket with every other resource they have is just exactly what they need to close out this game. And you know what? If you look at them on paper, you might not say this team has the fastest Baron take, but when they have these many items, it doesn't matter. You just group up for it. You have all the AD you could ever want on this Mundo just through their health stats. It's looking fine. Like this Baron will not be alive for very long, I can imagine.
And the Mundo AD from health conversion is actually, not, at this point, I'd say he's getting about 83 AD, a minimum, from his E. Like, it's crazy. This guy will be walking around with about 240 AD. Just building tank items, which is why regularly I don't know if you play into Mundo often, but sometimes I just go, how much did he just slap me for?
Yeah.
It's so
and if you
funny
combo
when
that,
look, when you're playing Mundo, it's great. When you're playing against a Mundo, it's miserable.
that one auto attack with the Deadmans, with the Heartsteel, and with the E empowered is just an absolute slapfest, and it's gonna be so strong. As this Mundo has just been running this map, throwing those ukuleles, and getting all the control they want, as now they're gonna start hitting the Baron, and we do see all 5 members from both team here. Minefield has been used. That is an essential cooldown, not there anymore. Kachi looking to wrap around, looking for maybe some kind of flank, but Loopy, as the tank that they are, no one can get past them. They get a nice binding onto Kenny there. This Nautilus dropping half health, but Sharpie is knocked up and bounced around, will get taken down. Kenny very, very low. Harry Carry going golden, as a nice ultimate from JB is splitting everyone away from their escape route. The 4 shot from Faulty is enough, from Victorios is enough to take down this very tanky Mundo, but Bulldog Academy is on full retreat away from this Baron pit.
Yeah, honestly, I was expecting a bit of a cleaner fight out of the Bandits there. I think it was very clear what their game plan was, which is we're going to start the Baron and then we're going to turn the fight. They were very hesitant on turning the fight, which meant the Baron was able to reduce their armor and MR by quite a significant margin. Oh dear, Air! Sorry, not Air, Mike. Air was last game. Mike's just teleported straight into his death.
He had a hope,
Bit of a head scratch in that one.
he had a dream, but he wasn't able to get that steal secured on this Azir, as they
That
did
was one
just...
hell of a dream.
That was an incredible dream, but you have to give respect there to try it. Unfortunately, wasn't able to do anything, and it looks like the Bandits will slowly and steadily take that Baron at 26 minutes. One last reset to pick up any items you want, as they will set their sights for this Bulldogs Academy base.
Yeah, Lunkova picking up that Spirit Visage now. Loopy, Randuin's, JB took that fight with the Death Cap already. I'm sure he's about to get a bit of magic penetration, at least I hope he is. And as you mentioned, the upgraded boots coming out now. The cheaper boots, the Swift March, coming for Elendil. He's going to give him some bonus AD. Loopy, I actually think could win this.
They're gonna look for something. Sharpie taking that tower down first, as the Bulldogs Academy, they're looking everywhere to try and get a kill, something desperate, but it's just not working out for them. You see 3 items completed across the board for each of these members, as now Loopy is just causing disruption in this top side. Sharpie unable to recall to help defend this base, as a binding does connect onto Elendil. However, Loopy's still getting chased down. There come the chains from Sharpie. They're gonna look to gobble down the Sejuani, and that is a nice pick, but they need to reset to help their team defend the base.
Yeah, Unbreakable Will and Fibion Death both use that, which means the siege is pretty solid for the Bandits. Bound up minions, Ocean Soul. Looking for 2 inhibitors of this push.
Mid lane inhibitor already secured. We can see the minions sieging down this bot side. They haven't been able to wrap around yet to group it. But there's also another objective spawning on this rift very, very soon. About 45 seconds till we'll see this Elder Dragon. And with the combo they have, it could be crazy. Harry Carry opting to flash forward. Won't be able to connect anything, as they are the target set. Sharpie dropping very low. Tries to dash away, but his flip back with a 4 shot is enough to take down JB. Kachi dashing in, getting the knockup onto Elendil, as they are rooted, stunned down, and that's another kill going over to the Bulldogs Academy. GP coming in from Loopy's freshly respawned, and that's a double kill for Lunka, as the Bandits do come out on top.
Honestly, that was almost as well as that fight could have gone if Harry Carry landed that flash binding.
Yeah.
I think it would have been a very 50-50 fight, to be honest, with the amount of damage still available to the Bandits. But unfortunately, whiffs on that one, and even though JB got separated, even though Elendil got picked up by the Curtain Call, it doesn't matter in the end, as the beefy boys of Bandits come on banging Bulldog Academy's base down.
Yes, exactly. A great last valiant attempt from Bulldogs Academy, but the Bandits do come out on top, getting themselves a very good win after an objectively insanely well-played performance. Not in a single objective drop besides some towers, picking up every grub, every dragon, Rift Herald, Baron, and you know what? They could have even gone for Elder, but no. The Bulldogs Academy, they wanted to fight, they wanted to go down trying, and they...
Honestly, I kind of respect that final fight. Right, you've got to take the riskier plays when you're down so much. So I'm completely fine with Harry Carry flashing in. I just wish he hit the Q.
Yeah, exactly that. I mean, it would if they hit that, that could have definitely been the pick to seal the deal, and then play back to get the
Possibly
dragon.
Elder.
Yeah, exactly. Pick up the Elder and see if that's kind of any kind of gold opportunity for them. Unfortunately, it did not work out their way, but you know what? I love it. I love to see a team fight till the bitter end, and they really, really gave everything. And Bulldogs Academy still haven't found that win yet this split, but they're for sure saying, hey, we're going to work towards that every game until we maybe get it.
And look, what I like is, even though they're down, they're still experimenting with quite interesting picks, right? The Morgana was something we did not see coming, but I wish we saw more of it actively working in team fights, but it was interesting at least.
No, for sure. I mean, it farmed up well, and it also, you know, the start was a bit rough for it with Lunkafor's very, you know, creative jungling, and Harry Carry wasn't exactly able to adapt on it just because they didn't have any lanes pushing to where they could invade for free. So it was for sure a nice game for Lunka to take advantage of that, and they made the most out of every gold they could get. And Mundo, it looked good, and you know what? Like I said Mundo either is like 100 or 0, and that was right there. We got the upper example because he was just running wherever he wanted, and there was just no way to shut him down.
Yeah. And honestly, it's nice to see Lunka not on a dedicated carry, like your Lilias and your Viegos. Like, even though he did carry, he was very much willing just to be a meat wall and allow his team to do all the damage. Look, folks, that's it for me. But, W, I believe you've got a desk to head off to.
I might do, yeah.
Bye, everyone, from me, and why don't we have a little bit of a transition and invite the desk back in?
Okay, maybe not. Maybe it's just me. In this case, W and Nick are here. You just can't see them. And I can't sort it out. So, with that in mind, we've had a bit of a situation with Game 3. So, Game 3 tonight is postponed likely till tiebreaker day. This is the end of our regular season. So, we won't be seeing Symbol and Rise tonight. Expect further statements, etc., from us in the future, but tonight is not the time. So with that in mind, Game 3 not on, and we were not able to bring Game 4 forwards. So, as we go back to the desk, hey, Nick and W, we're going to break that one down, then we're going to go to a quick break where hopefully you can get some dinner. If you're in the United Kingdom like I am, I'm going to go and vote because I can see the polling station is just out of that window. So I'm going to run over there and tick the box that I would like to tick. And maybe if you've forgotten at home, now's a good time. But you know what? We haven't forgotten, Nick and W, that game where the Bandits, I think, pretty confidently closed that one out.
Yeah, they definitely did. They got ahead quite early on, and they just ran the snowball straight through the enemy base. I really want to highlight the bot lane from the Bandits. They got 3 kills. It wasn't within 10 minutes, but they did get ahead in CS. They got the kill lead as well, and Elendil just, again, as always, playing out of his mind and just making sure that his team just gets to do whatever they want because he gets so many leads in the lane. And on the opposite side, it was the Bulldogs that got a big lead in the top lane, but they were not able to actually abuse that. So, W, can you enlighten me on why that happened?
Well, this top lane lead wasn't even a lead per se, because Loopy was actually winning it on their own. This Loopy performance on the Sejuani put Urgot in their place. It kind of showed that this counter pick is something to be worried about, and that Sharpie only really got kills whenever they had someone to help them with, to the point where you always had to send 2 to help and get that kill, and that was really it. So even so, I think every laner played there. I want to give a huge shout out to JB on this Talia as well. Their walls were just like, mwah. You know, like it's just how you want to play this champion. You don't need to be a damage carry. You could just drop a wall somewhere, cut off an enemy escape route. We saw that once where the Nectarios could not escape back to their tower, and it was just a free picking. So overall from the Bandits, just excellently performed by everybody.
I think top lane tastes like bacon. That's for sure. That was absolutely fantastic. You know, you pick Urgot on blue one. It's like, no, it's mine now. And the Urgot main will just be like, now I get to do unto you, as I do not want to be done unto. So we'll look out for Sejuani top flexes in the future. I think, judging by Twitch chat and some other messages I've received, I may have been muted when it was just me earlier on, so the show might have heard me backstage, but we might not have gone out on air, so I'm just going to repeat just in case. Game 3 tonight is not going ahead. We're postponing till tiebreaker day. That is the end of the regular season. So Symbol and Rise will be going on, but not tonight, and not on stream nor off of it. Wait for further statements from us if they do need to be made. If not, we'll be back with game 4 in a little while. So Nick and Dubby, it's getting late in the evening. It's awful warm still. I'm roasting. I don't know about you. We're going to be back in about, well, it's just under 1 hour now because I've dragged the desk out a touch. So we'll be seeing you in about 50 minutes, chat. Don't go too far. If you're in the United Kingdom, it is local election night, so maybe go on down to your local station. You don't need your polling card, and do a democracy perchance. And even if not, get that dinner in, get the kettle on, cup of tea. We'll be back real soon. See you then.
Let's go, let's move side to side, let's go. Let's go, let's move side to side, let's go. Let's go, let's move side to side, let's go. Let's go, let's move side to side, let's go. Let's go! Let's go, let's move side to side, let's go. Let's go, let's move side to side, let's go. Let's go, let's move side to side, let's go. Let's go, let's move side to side, let's go. Come on, everybody, bring it in. Let's go, let's move side to side, let's go. Let's go, let's move side to side, let's go. Let's go, let's move side to side, let's go. Let's go, let's move side to side, let's go.
to apologize for game 3 obviously not going underway, but that will be shown in due time, I believe, a little bit later down the line, but we'll get to that later. Right now, let me welcome in my guests today, Harold and Temporal. Join me right now as we go through the final game of the day. In Quick taking on Paragon. And Temp, like, you've been here for most of the day, right? You've seen the things happen. You also know a bit more behind the scenes. I don't know if you want to elaborate on game 3, or we can just move straight to game 4.
It's late, a little late today. We'll be talking about game 3. I presume. But we got game 4.
We do have game 4. It's game 4. You know the score. Harold and his team somehow won again. You know, I don't know who keeps writing the script. Someone needs to change that one soon. But it is what it is. Let's bring up the roster. Oh, not sorry, the roster. Let's bring up the matchup for today. In Quick taking on Paragon. And I feel like this is one where a lot of people could quite easily be like, okay, we think we know who's winning this one already, right? I feel like the deck is definitely stacked over to the 5IQ boys at the moment. But they have lost. They did lose on Monday. So the game is not over, Harold.
The game is not over until it's over at the end of the day. First game of the split, we almost took the game from them, you know? Made it a nail biter at almost 50 minutes. I feel like
Yeah, that was the time.
the shivers from my desk companions do tell the tale of a bygone game. But 5IQ haven't looked good until they haven't. It feels like as long as things are going their way, they're looking good. They're using the map, moving around the map, they're using their pressure to generate opportunities for Karina to get ahead of the tempo in the game and to get a lead, and then to facilitate other laners into getting into a better position. And as soon as that fails,
I almost disagree. I'm not going to lie. I almost disagree. I feel like 5IQ have got through from Vibes and Karina seeding Barons. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like they have been losing a lot of bad situations, and then Karina steals the Baron, and then we're all like, oh my God, 5IQ, they're so good. But it's like, well, they won, and then they now are back in the game and they can play the late game, right? I think that they definitely have hands. They definitely are very skilled players. Let's not take that away from them. But I do think there are some big issues, right? I do think the drafting's a bit of a problem. And I also think that, you know, they like to throw the game. But let's bring up who is on 5IQ real quick. Let's bring up In Quick's roster on your screen. Temporal, talk to us, because I believe we have a change.
Yeah, talking to the hand of God. Oh, never mind. We got Paragon, and we've got a broken graphic there. That is not Kittenly stepping in for Paragon. Don't worry. We haven't done a trade. We're going to get that fixed real quick. Here we got In Quick tonight. You'll notice Kenley missing out for Dine. Get well soon, Kenley. Kerkobras, the mad scientist of UK top lane. Karina, hand of God in the jungle, as we've noticed. BZ, I don't know if he's still streaming, but caught him on a little Talia action earlier on his Twitch channel. And of course, everyone's favorite Ezreal player. Although a lot of Varus coming through this split. Superstar, marksman, Dragda.
Indeed, yeah, and I do wonder how the sub will change things. Like, I feel like it's not going to change much. I believe this team is going to be kind of feeling the same regardless. But Harold, maybe you have a bit more insight into that.
I mean, it gives them more opportunities. They can play engage now from the bot lane. So like, it adds a dimension to the team. It adds a dimension to the team, and it for sure like creates better opportunities. I mean, you have just more options. You have choice. You're not forced in a situation where you're early picking an enchanter, and then you kind of have to roll with it or get engaged somewhere else. You have a window to now force the game to be played more around your choice, which is
okay.
Cool.
I like it. I like it. You were saying their style was flat. They were hitting 2D. Now they've got 3D. They can kind of move around these obstacles that were in their way potentially, or maybe not, right? Maybe we're just going to see the same shenanigans again. But either way, let's see who they are taking on. Let's bring up Paragon once again. Let's bring them back. And I do kind of hope we still have the graphic, because I love the thought of like 5IQ losing their player on this day, Temporal, as we are going to bring up Paragon very shortly. Talk me through, though, this Paragon side, because I feel like this team, you know, there's a lot of big names in this team. And I feel like they're a team that has like got close a lot and then not got over the finish line.
Yeah, in absence of the graphic, we got Kenji in the top lane, Monk, Mental, Camille main of seasons past, Fruity Carrots in the jungle, Big Ivan, Enjoy, Ketsuo, Melee, Macho Man in the mid lane, Always big on the Yasuo, the Yone, the Akali, absolute terror. Dark Shadow in bot lane has been, the other Shadow who's joined the league this split. Fantastic performances on AD carry will be certainly a large test up against Dragdar. And then substituting in the bottom lane, we're without... oh gosh, okay, Brain's gone, but Maraka is coming in tonight for Paragon.
Okay. Well, I want to ask you this one. It's a bit of a niche one. As we can bring the camera back to us, get us on the screen. We don't need to see 5IQ anymore. I'm sure we'll see them at some point on Twitter or later on in the league. But what I want to say is I want to ask a different question here. Everyone talks about, okay, how do we think the game's going to go? How will blah, blah, blah. No, let's go backwards, right? Let's do a little bit of kind of hindsight maths to go forwards, right? Harold, you've actually played both of these teams, right? You beat one, you lost to the other. How are you feeling about this matchup, given that you've actually seen both sides live in front of your face?
I do think Paragon looked good when Ketsuo has agency. They especially in the game against us, they looked... every time there was a contest, it felt like they were winning in spite of him and not thanks to him. He was on the Victor that game, for example. While on other games, when he was on the Yone, he was on the Silas, it felt, especially like, I'm thinking back on the game against Gucci, he was on the Jace in that game. It just felt like he had way more personal agency to move around the map and create pockets of denial in terms of, I'm here, come fight me. Like, you have to bring 1, 2, 3 people, come fight me. On the rest of the map, everybody else is going to do their own thing. And yeah, it just feels like whenever he doesn't have ways to push forward his advantage, Paragon seem to struggle a little bit. While 5IQ, they're a bit of a puzzle still. I mean, Karina has bailed them out of so many situations. It feels like the main gripe I have with the team for myself is that Kerberos hasn't been hitting his stride. It feels like he is very much on the downturn. We saw it against Gucci getting punished on the double rotation, coming through from the bot lane, dying with both sums up to a Nautilus gank. We saw it in the game against us when Loopy found a solo kill while he was on the Aurora. He's not had his best split. It's showing. I do think they need to get more resources into him because he is the kind of player that can take over a game on some of his picks.
Okay. All right, fair enough. I'll break it down with a little analogy, and you guys can give me your thoughts on this one. I feel like Paragon are least in, right? You know what I mean? They're moving fast. They're making some plays. They got that good early game, but they have to kind of find their footing. They need to get that better macro, that better game sense to kind of take themselves over the line, right? They're really good early. They can make things happen. They have a strong shot at the start, but then they haven't managed to, get themselves up to those upper echelons, those least in players where they can kind of take it home. And I feel like Inkwick are just Yorick, right? Because Karina's just digging them out of these graves, so it's like straight up how I feel like this matchup is. But Temporal, like, what I want to know about Inkwick, and it's the big question I have, is very, very good players. They look really strong on the Rift, and they've had such good moments where, like, when they do have their footing in the game, they are just exceptional. But I feel like they also just love throwing the game. Like, they make the game so much harder for themselves than it needs to be, both a little bit in draft, which I guess is more excusable, but just in the game, they're just like, let's fight from minute 1 until it's done. Like,
I think that they're pretty confident, right? And that normally stems from them mashing bottom lane as well. Like, we'll have to see if Kitley's absence makes a difference, because, we can accuse them of being enchanter merchants, but they win the lane, and it's really powerful. And normally, that gives you the we're fine the next objective. You ignore the compositional differences your opponent's doing. It's like, no, we're ahead. I'm fighting that dragon. I'm fighting that Rift Herald. What are you saying? And sometimes that can be a little forced.
Okay, Harold. What are we going to see from draft? That's what I want to know. That's the real question that I have. We don't have draft just yet. Hopefully it should be soon. But I feel like that's been a bit of a make or break. Do you feel like Paragon can start to take themselves one step ahead by potentially, pinning in and putting Inkwick into a bit of a corner with the draft? Because I feel like that's been a point that a lot of our analysts kind of have said that, Inkwick are a little bit shaky on how they can draft a composition.
Well, the absence of Kinley has definitely changed, especially the band priorities coming through from Paragon. You still want to take away BZZ, you still want to take away the Dragdars Ezreal, but now you don't have a Lulu or Soraka to ban on the third slot. You can take away something like the Silas, you can take away something like the Yone. You can try and give Ketsu as much flexibility in the draft as you can. Or you could go the other way, you take away two of Dragdar's picks, you ban away the Ezreal and the Jhin, and you take away the Varus. And then like he's forced to go on something like Ashe, which he has played before, but he hasn't looked the best on. So, and on the other side, for in Quick, you basically have to give Kerberos the best matchup possible. You want this guy to be the guiding light, especially into somebody like Kenji, who has pivoted more towards playing tanks this split. He has not stuck on the Camille, he has not stuck on the carries, he has played more towards the team. If you can give Kerberos a pick that can split open a map, but he's just existing, it's something that you can look to play towards and can look to punish Paragon's, I would say, sloppy side lane control. They haven't looked the greatest at it. Their team fighting is good. I feel like their side lane management has been kind of shaky when Kets was not ahead.
Now, let's talk a bit about Paragon, right? I feel like we focused a lot on kind of seeing what we want to think about 5IQ. I feel like Paragon, they're a little bit under the radar at the moment, right? I got to watch them on Broad One Sports, and actually was casting them on Broad One Sports the other day on Monday. And it's a sentiment of Paragon had some really good moments in that game, right? They were able to establish a decent early game. They did start to lose out in those kind of early skirmishes around the early mid, but then they were able to put together some really good team fights. And I feel like this is where I'm confused about Paragon, because it feels like they have all the makings to be a really good team, to pick up these wins, but they're always just short of making that happen. Like, they'll find these good team fights, but then they can't do it consistently, or they'll get that early lead and they can't transition that into the late game. And what do you feel like is the piece that's missing, Temporal, from this puzzle to allow Paragon to kind of become the Paragon of old, when we've seen them in some of the last UKEL tournaments?
Yeah, I think the sort of biggest thing for me is that on the occasions they have the draft that should arc out through the game and be the complete solution, is there's execution missing in the first few team fights, and when they don't have the draft, the execution doesn't really come to fruition. So we've got these different pieces that they've been working on. We've got that struggle to actually show up in a meaningful way post 25 minutes especially, that has let their opponents run away and make an advantage that should be this is a few pushing waves, or this is a one team fight, that turns into this is a Baron, this is an Elder Dragon, and a big consequence instead of a little one. So I do want to see them just take it easy, go through probably the same drafts. I think these are the two teams that are most on rails, despite their supports being missing today. We will be talking about melee mids, we'll be talking about target bans, we'll be talking about Ink Quick, maybe changing it up.
But we're going to be talking about the draft because we are here. And I got to say, for people at home, it might say week 3, but week 3 is over halfway through our season, by the way. Paragon are 1-4. They need to start getting those wins to get themselves into that top 8. They are a little bit at risk. And Inquick are going to be looking to put themselves back in number 1 spot. Can they do it? We'll find out. We're going to go into the draft, though. Here we go. Bans underway. The Z taken away from Paragon. Like it's predicted. We predicted Ezreal, Z, and then what will they do for the final ban? That's going to be the interesting one. It looks like Inquick are losing some bans because they have to make a substitution.
Yes, emergency late substitution. These things happen. There's Inquick without bans, so we're running through. So we'll be a little delay as they have to no ban in the first place.
I do wonder if that. I can't tell if that hurts.
Blues a bit
plays
more
in their favor because, less bans means that there's a lot of picks that are really strong B1, but obviously Paragon, they're going to get 2. They're going to get 2 good picks if they want them.
I wonder.
You get to choose which ones as well.
I wonder with the nerfs that came through with this patch 25.009, will we see priority on the Nefiri and the Gwen again? Because
it's certainly reduced, right? And I don't think we've seen it much tonight. Whether that stays the same, uncertain.
I mean, Karina has been excellent on the Nefiri.
Yeah.
Props to the player, but the champion is also busted. But I do think they could look to prioritize it again, try and funnel the early game through Karina, try to get her ahead, try to give your jungler the best chance possible to run the tempo of the game from early on. As we see here, last band coming through from Paragon soon. I wonder what it will be, because what do you target? What do you take away? What's the toss up? I guess.
It's tough because I feel like Kerberos is showing he'll play anything, so it's not really worth the ban. I think, the Neferi is fair. Even though it's nerfed, it's been good for Karina. She's played it multiple times. Just get rid of the dog, and then you don't have to worry about it. It does make me question whether Gwen will just be first picked, or if they actually decided, with the nurse, it's going to be a bit different.
It might be the first pick Gwen, but no, they want to secure a good matchup for Dragdar. They get him his Varus, which basically he hasn't laid hands on it because Ezreal has been banned and Varus has been first picked away from them most of the time. So we get to see him on his probably his second best AD carry currently. So, a good point of power, but as we see the answer coming in from Paragon, the hover currently is the Gwen. This is a flex in the hands of Paragon. Both through the carrots and Kenji, I'm quite sure they can pilot it. It now becomes a question of what do you want to do with the rest of your draft? Because now you have a really strong late game carry that scales really well, but it needs time. It needs 1-2 items to really come online and be threatening.
Yeah.
So I wonder at this point, do you pick Bridge? The Ivern's up for 30 carrots if they want it. There's the possibility of that.
Break your own flags.
Wait, are you saying that you think Gwen is not going into the jungle?
It dissuades some picks from Kerberos, so I think worth keeping the flexibility there, even if no intent to use it. I do like going towards bot lane. I think Sivir works well with Gwen. If you got to run in, you better run in fast.
No, agreed. I think it's definitely going to be a bit of a dangerous one, especially going into that poke. I do wonder if Inkquick will maybe, index into that and say, actually, we are going to play for that. But now, with the Sivir, with the Gwen, obviously, the fact that they can just kind of avoid so much damage, that's not what I was expecting. Kayn coming through for Karina.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Kayn really traditionally up and down in the Four Nations. We had a run with Shader, which was sort of very top lane focused and was pretty cool.
We had Harry Carey pick it last split, no, as well?
If you remember it, then
we did have someone last split.
Exists.
Someone definitely played Kayn last split. I don't remember it going well, I'll be honest.
Yeah, no, it normally doesn't go well.
But Karina is... We talk about all of these one-tricks on Inkquick. Karina, for the longest time, was a Kayn one-trick.
Yes, this player has played plenty of it.
So, gone more towards a more competitive champion pool now, but Kayn still remains one of her premier picks. But
I'm just finding it so wild that BZ plays Talia so much. I feel like I don't see Talia mid ever. And this guy who plays Zed, you'd think, okay, he's going to play something, if it's going to be OP, maybe like an Akali, right? Something that's high mobility. Just plays Talia. And you know what? I'm kind of here for it, right? It goes really nicely into this Rakan. It's quite nice into the Gwen as well. You are going to definitely slow their momentum into that backline. And it sets up nicely for the Varus to have that space in front of you.
It's nice, and it also dissuades the Azir pick coming in after, which does also fit Paragon's lineup quite nicely, and makes Kayn's life really, really hard, and is just an 8-tier pick at the moment. I do think that Talia sort of fits that, and it is going to make the running forwards thing even harder, as Kenji's Jace, so no one convinced by that flex hopping.
Well, it's also Ketsuo's Jace.
This is true. Ketsuo, mighty Jace.
Maybe the Yone ban. I feel like actually, playing into Talia, it's not really that big a problem. Like, I'm trying to think what they want to take away from Inkquick. I feel like there's so much left open in this draft, right? Obviously, support is definitely one that we still have on our minds for Inkquick to actually select. So I do wonder if Paragon go into that again. They won't. They're going to take away the Cho'Gath, which I guess could be flexed down into bottom if you're crazy enough. And
it's been done. I don't know if Dun's much of a Senna enjoyer.
Looking at Silas right now for Paragon, I feel like it's probably their best pick right now. There's already 3 relatively good ultimates to steal on the side of Inkquick. It's something that Ketsuo has gravitated towards before. And Talia is supposed to be this super punishing matchup into melee mids that need to dash. Yeah, Silas just does more damage. He doesn't care. You can put down the minefield. If his Z connects, he just will deal more damage, and he will be fine. And he can out-roam you because of the mobility, and anytime he uses your ultimate to get in. But Okay.
Getting a little
Okay.
bit spicy, isn't it, fellas? Just a
My
little
game's
bit
made.
more.
I'm now a big
boy.
fan of Paragon, and I will be cheering on Paragon for the rest of the time. I love Echo. What a champion. I also love that they still have a flex, right? This could be Echo jungle. This could be Gwen jungle. It could be Gwen top. It could be Echo mid. They haven't actually revealed yet who is going exactly where, so it still leaves a little bit of suspense for 5IQ.
I would believe this is probably mid lane because Echo Z doesn't count as a dash. It just goes over the minefield and you can still keep hitting the Talia.
The first
So,
one does.
What
but yeah.
I'm hearing is action roll through the rock.
The barrel roll.
Yeah, a little barrel roll. All right, AD or top for Indica, because let's not forget Kerberos, along with Mo in a Varus top. Enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're gonna get the Gangplank OTP on the desk. There it goes.
Okay, they really picked for our desk. They really played for us, you know, and I respect that a lot, guys.
So happy.
Okay, so
happy to
what's
see
good
the
into
show.
Gangplank? What beats Does
Aatrox.
Gwen smash Gangplank? What happens?
Aatrox. Aatrox should be the pick here. Something because you need physical
so
damage.
Gets a good curve through Gangplank through the game. You know, he's no longer the complete level 1 menace. He's also not the complete go level 18 AD carry of past. He's a good smooth curve between. I do like the poppy into it. You get the utility throughout the game, and you do nullify Gangplank quite well. It is a bit hard to keep up with him in the early though.
I'll be honest, I still don't really know who's going where, because the poppy could also theoretically go jungle. It's really good into Kayn. I will say that the poppy pickup into Kayn is disgusting. Actually, no, if that's poppy jungle into the Kayn jungle, the early game is cooked for Karina, right? If they ever run into each other. But I do believe it's probably going to be poppy top, so that gives me a little bit less joy. Into Gangplank, though, I would have said I don't feel like that's a particularly fun time for the poppy.
I'm wondering. I do think this is actually more likely to be Poppy jungle. You probably want the threat of the Poppy to work together with your assassin Echo. You want them to go on roams. You don't want this Poppy to be locked in top lane. Because in top lane it's just not fun. Gangplank is it's not a straight up counter, but Gangplank doesn't really care about Poppy. Poppy can dash in and Gangplank will proc passive, proc a barrel, proc another passive, and just run away. So
There's a decent 1-3-1 that relies on the Gwen and the Echo being loose in the side lanes as well. You know, if one of them's got a jungle item, it's just not quite as effective.
Yeah, I would agree with that sentiment. Which means that, you know what? If we now break it down, right? So obviously we've got the whole draft, we've seen the whole picture. How are we feeling about the draft? Because it's a little bit of an unusual one. I'm not saying it's bad though. I actually quite like the drafts from both teams, but it's definitely not classic. Let's just team fight League of Legends.
I think Paragon have got a little bit of win more, but it comes with a personal flavor from the Echo, from the Sivir. If they do get ahead, there should be 3 of them barrel down mid and invite 4 to 5 to respond, while their Nexus taking abilities are on full display. Lots of Lich Banes across this team. But for 5IQ, you got to get Kayn into combat. And if Paragon play this well, they don't have to combat Kayn, I feel, with this draft.
Red
There
Kayn,
is-
blue Kayn. What are we feeling, Harold?
personally, I would go blue. I feel like there's enough squishy targets that you can say, screw it, I'm going blue Kayn. I do have to farm bot lane for it, but I can go blue Kayn here. Because there's one range champion on the side of Paragon.
Yeah, in my mind, I'm like, okay, if you go red, you're getting blown up by Gwen. You can fight Echo, you can fight Poppy well. You can maybe dance with the bot lane a little bit too. If you go blue, you know, you could
get
dance
blown
with
up
them.
by
You know, you
everyone.
could start one-shotting a lot
Yeah,
of members.
you
You know,
one-shot
maybe,
them,
just I think red Kayn though. I think it has to be red Kayn in this game. I'll be honest.
I mean, it's difficult to get blue Kayn in this game, but looking more holistically at the 5IQ comp, it's very much a comp fighters comp. Imagine fighting through Talia Minefield, Gangplank Barrels, Gangplank Ultimate, and Varus Arrows.
It's kind of hard, because I think if they are going to play the Kayn out, I think you're right. They have to probably go blue and evolve it early, which maybe means just getting red as fast as you can and eating the penalty, which is not fantastic. I haven't seen a lot of red Kayn recently, but if anyone's going to surprise us tonight, it's Karina.
Yeah, and probably with a Baron steal. You know, that's what we're really looking
No,
out
it's
for here.
another
Like, that's,
champion that just walks through walls.
like,
Not
you
like
know, they
this.
just said, like, okay, it's fine, right? We're just going to play the champion that gets in the pit really easy. And then when
Every
you're in
game.
the pit, you can be inside someone else to stay alive to then still get the smite off. Like, Corinna has more opportunities than ever before to get the steals. And I'm really here for it. I'm really loving this as a concept that's why they play Kane. That's why they're so good at the steals. But we'll have to see how it goes, right? The game's set up. We've talked about it a lot. Who wins? Harold, you go first.
Okay, so I want to give Mac his props. The draft is very good. It counters what 5AQ want to do, but man, there's a gangplank on the other team. I can't do anything but just give the win to in quick.
Temporal.
I have to.
Plates off. I really enjoy the Paragon comp. I think it's a bit win more, and you gotta get yourself there first, guys. I just did a little spiel about how you gotta take it step by step and then execute. Execute or die here is the only option. You know, if you can avoid the Kane and keep no form for like 20, 25 minutes, then sure, Paragon, I got this. I don't think it's gonna happen. I think Karina's gonna be invading. I think she's gonna be scrapping, and I think 5IQ are probably going to take a little bit longer with this one. Let's see if they get in half an hour or more.
I'm going to give it to Paragon. Purely because of the echo, I'll be honest. But also, I just
series
think the
vibes.
comp's more fun, right? I think it's more fun. And I really actually want to see Paragon get a bit aggressive with that Poppy pick, right? You said avoid the Kane. I almost want them to hunt down the Kane because the Kane will
that's
not
risky.
do anything in presence of Poppy and will be a free kill. So that's what I want to see from them. A bit of productivity. See if they can find that. See if they can find Corinna in the jungle and put her down. But we'll have to see how that one plays out. We are going to throw this one over to the casters. Harold, we are going to be seeing you in a second. Welcome in, Thousand Eyes.
Surprise, surprise.
And welcome in. I was going to say, you sprinted over here fast, man. Welcome in, everybody. We are just moments away from getting in. And, man, what a draft. One of the drafts of all time, I think.
Listen, if people are gonna comment on my drafting, I feel like this should be taken as like counter cause. Like, I do what I do, and like these people just get away with half of the stuff I get sent on.
I can tell, I can like feel how much you're holding back right now. Just there's a level of frustration that is building right now. But I mean, hey, we get to see champs that we haven't seen in competitive for a while. Kane, Gangplank.
I'm so
I mean,
happy. I'm so
Echo's coming back a little bit, but it's still a really fun pick to watch.
I mean, Echo is. When was the last time we truly saw him properly? It was 2018 Worlds, right?
It's been a
Probably.
while, yeah.
It was like
He's
the
been
mid-Echo
popping up in
meta.
solo queue. I think is maybe where I'm thinking it was sooner.
Well, yeah, he's been good in solo queue mostly because people don't respect his early damage.
Yeah,
But pro play, I'm thinking back of the days of Jizuke on Vitality playing it. But
yeah.
I don't seem to recall any other meta where people would just pick Echo.
Yeah.
But I feel like in the matchup, it's like seeing what Zeka did at the first stand when picking the Zed into the Talia. Talia is a relatively mobile champion that has very few ways of like actually counterplaying. Echo has ways to get on top of her and just just unload every single little bit of damage that he has. You know, the Q, the parallel convergence. It's just, it's a good laning counter pick. I need to see whether Paragon can then translate that laning lead into side lane control, because this draft from Paragon is really good at doing that side lane control. You have Gwen and you have Echo. It's just a question of whether they can pull through. But we are finally on Summoner's Rift for the last game of the day. There's a Gangplank, and it started glowing mode, and I have words.
It's not just the draft that's a problem. Already at the gate, itemization. But I mean, hey, it is up against that Gwen, which does feel very like it's very mechanics based, right? Like Gwen has the W to dodge things, but the barrels are always a mini game with Gangplank, where if you can play mind games with them. There seems like there's going to be a lot of back and forth in this top lane, if anything.
I mean, I would assume, like, I'm thinking about it from the mentality of somebody that played too much Pirate. it's a question of whether you can like predict the dash in from the Gwen on the barrel, proc it and run away. It's of denying the trade basically. And on the side of the Gwen, it's just better all-in power. But as we see here, there's a little bit of stacking in the bot lane. There's no vision, so completely unaware currently. But is this? No, this is not the first time we see Shadow of Varus, is it? But as we see here, waves are crashing, and Ketsuo is in lane, and he hasn't missed minions yet, but BZ's doing his best.
Yeah, I'm keeping my eyes too on this Poppy because we are, well, we'll keep our eyes on it for a little bit longer as we take a pause. But I'm really looking at this Poppy because I'm looking at the champions that exist on this team, and in the Kayn and the Alistar specifically, Poppy stops those champions at such a base level that you can really change fights with a good W from the Poppy.
Yeah, I mean, we're already back into the game, but yeah, Poppy is a really powerful pick into this draft. Seeing it in jungle is probably what I would have gone towards as we were talking on the test. You just give your laners more options, because if you're going Gwen jungle and Echo mid, then you're forced in a situation where buying Merc treads for the Echo is, you know, super simple. But as we see here, the freeze after the pause.
The post-pause pause, as I like to call it.
As we are back into the game, Drugder and Dunn fighting for priority. No level 2s blocked for anybody yet. And they will win the race. Yeah, it's
Really interesting to just see how aggressive the Alistar can be played level 1 without that headbutt. Now it has the full combo. Gonna go in onto Shadow, who will get a shield. Gonna try and run this Alistar down. Get a little bit of extra damage, and bad and even trade, all things considered.
Yeah, good damage back coming through from the Silver using that Boomerang Blade to take the auto reset. And just to make it so that the trade is not as aggressive. But done, they're threatening the all-in basically at the last level 1 Alistar before the level up comes through, and just using the minion spacing to deny it.
Yeah.
Really good. It's good laning mechanics considering Alistar, level 1, very many times we've said this, not really a champion.
Unless you're walking into him, yeah.
Yeah, unless you're face first into the Alistar and it's like, okay, cool, I'll just pulverize you. Very
That's my favorite. I'm so happy when I get to see that. But we do have level 3s coming around in the bot lane. Junglers finishing up their clears, both on the top side here. So I think both junglers realizing the volatility of this top lane and wanting to have some kind of say in it.
Yeah, I mean, the GP needs time. It has a strong early laning phase just because of the power of the oranges, the parlay. No, not as strong as it used to be, considering now parlay doesn't proc as a melee attack, which I'm still mad about. Why did you have to do that, Riot? Give me back my bully phase. But, you know, good protection coming through from both Fruity Carrots and Karina to just make sure that there's no unwanted attention. Here, Fruity Carrots is going to reset on vision. Oh, he's not going to reset.
Little end of just share a laugh. A nice belly laugh between the two players. I do like to see here the fact that the crab got taken on the top side by Karina. Immediately, Paragon's bot lane got control of the bot side river, walked up to make sure Poppy still has a way to get up there. Does end up getting that scuttle crab, so not losing out on that crucial XP.
Yeah, the Kayn has already completed an extra camp. Karina will not reset after that first clear. She'll just keep clearing. We see the Conqueror coming through, likely going to be a red Kayn, even though I feel like in this game you're running into too much damage to go red. But, you know, who am I to doubt the possibilities to pilot this champion to the max than somebody who has played it way too much of it. But as we see, first backs coming through for most everyone. Gwen going for the boots plus the Amtom, GP picking up his Sheen to amplify the parlay damage and the barrel damage. Really good use of the Hallowed Mist there by Kenji to just deny the parlay and the barrel damage to just take it. This is Gwen mechanics 101, you know, just making sure that you're making as much use of that laning phase control that you can have. As you see, Fruity Carrots going towards the bot lane, might be looking for an engage, but
Is seen, yeah, just not able.
Maraka has to back off, can't pull the trigger, but it should be Drake going over to the side of Paragon. You know, Poppy is one of those champions that once you hit level 3, you're basically full build.
Yep.
You don't
Absurd
really
damage.
care. You don't really care about items, you don't care about runes, you don't care about who your opponent is. You have level 3, you're fighting somebody, they're next to a wall, you're winning. As you see Ketsuo. Half HP with one combo. Okay.
Yep, that's Echo. That's Echo. Meanwhile, the whole time, that dragon does get taken away for Paragon, so a good start to them. I mean, this is kind of what you expect with the Kayn, right? You're not going to be doing a whole lot in the early game. You're waiting till you get to the point in the game where you get a lot of orbs from hitting people and try to hit that transform as soon as you can.
Yeah, you're trying to hit that tempo, but like at the same time, Kayn has gotten 0 stacks. I think 0 damage. Oh, fruity carrots.
No, did get someone. Oh wait, Karita is very much in trouble. Gonna E. Does have to flash over the wall as well, and will Q to go into the pit. But Echo is here and ready. Flashes, Q's first blood, going over to Paragon.
Very
Oh.
run by Ketsuo. Oh,
Maraka in trouble, gets the heal, the Ignite is burning, still trying to dash away, gets out of range of the Alistar, slowly done is trying to get in range, cannot, and the health pot might be enough. W to dodge away from the Varus Q, and now BZ is here to get the dive, but they don't have the minions for it, and Shadow is running off the mid laner. Somehow Paragon survived this.
oh boy. The cookies saving Maraka, but as we see here, another crash coming through. The 5IQ are not done with the play.
They are looking to dive once again. They do get the stun onto Shadow. Dash for the shield. Maraka, Shadow, both really low. Flash forward. Double kill for BZ. It was messy, but 5IQ on the board.
Rock upon ye, and BZ gets 2 kills. Good way to buffer the flash with the extra damage coming through with, that boulder toss. Is it boulder toss until I forget. The threaded volley, my bad. But yeah, good dive, good patience to re-dive again when you have the cooldown. As we see, Kenji here might be looking for the all-in. Gwen's level 7.
Ult going out, using the ghost to continue to run down this GP, and Echo is here to take another kill. Ketsuo, more money in the pocket.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at that CSD topside, and I'm saying worth if I'm Kerberos.
Yeah, I mean the GP is getting some money.
20 CS up, first strike proccing. You probably killed a few minions with parlay and barrel, so you're fine. You gave up 1 kill. Whoopee.
You gave up 1 kill, and importantly, it was not on your laning opponent either. So you're still ahead of the person you're in lane against.
Yeah, but now Ketsuo and BZ are both on 2 kills. Both these mid laners, I feel like almost getting locked on the map. You do want the cycle to complete. What? Is he going Nasher's Tooth first item with Electrocute? I mean, that blasting one doesn't build into a Lich Bane not until next patch. So...
We'll have to see. We'll have to see. I mean, if nothing else, I'm still expecting both these mid laners to start roaming around the map here, as we've already seen them do. It's only going to get worse. Poppy, top lane, Fruity Carrots. Gonna try and get the stun, doesn't need it here, forces the flash, does not have the Gwen ult, and in comes Karina to turn this back around. Cannon barrage onto Fruity Carrots and Kenji. Fruity Carrots is falling low, but Kenji's there to body block, get into the fight. Oranges to stay alive, and Kerberos won't fall, no deaths.
And in the meantime, Shadow falls to Dragdar in the bot lane, as you see here, Kenji playing with quite literally fire. If Gangplank gets to proc off his passive on him, I think that's game over. But is he done here? Oh, more fighting.
We're still fighting in the bot lane, or the top lane rather. Kerberos will go down. Both of the top laners fall, and the junglers just sit and grab the farm.
Yeah, cool. We're scrapping for funsies, I guess. We're at that point in the game already.
You saw the draft. That was going to happen.
That is true, but as we see here, first item completions coming through for the first champions, and it is going to be that Nasher's Tooth for the Echo. You wanting to use that passive as much as possible. Would have preferred something like Lich Bane, gives you just that extra bit of burst going forward, but it does make it easier for the Echo to siphon it. As you see here, more trading in the top lane. Kenji, I don't know if you win this.
Kenji missed the last part of the ult. The barrel doesn't hit, but the Q is good. Kenji does not want to mess with this Gangplank anymore. There needs that ult for the fight. Nice stun in the mid lane. BZ taking a lot of hurt onto Ketsuo, who needs to back away soon. Will ult just to go in right now, doesn't get the passive charm to get the kill, and Baraka's the one that picks it up, but it is still a kill for Paragon.
Really well played by Ketsuo there to just use the ultimate to then bait the fight again. Just finds the way back onto the Talia. Talia doesn't have that threaded volley, doesn't have that minefield ready to go. And now it's just enough damage coming through. But as we see here, more fighting in the bot side. Karina has completed the item.
Yeah, Karina has the Eclipse, getting the shield, just gonna go onto the Sivir, but the damage just is not there. And they have waited long enough to get the rest of Paragon in the way. Dragdar trying to run away, flashes, will survive just barely thanks to the help from the Gangplank. Dragdar still alive and the health bars flashing for Paragon. They couldn't turn it back around and now they need to run away. Maraka Wing under tower. Shadow very low. Maraka gonna shield, heal, stay alive. Will body block for Shadow to survive, but for how long is the question. Fruity Carrots flash, stun against the wall, flashback with the barrier, and Shadow survives only to die to the cannon barrage. What is happening?
I'm at a loss for words. So, in the meantime of all this happening, Kerberos got a solo kill in the top side, had time to look bot lane, cannon barraged, got another kill on Shadow. In the meantime, BZ takes the fight and Paragon takes so long to actually pull the trigger that enough cooldowns come back from the side of Inquick that they can just be fine. This is, on the side of Inquick, this is a really scary comp to run into for the side of Paragon. And you just keep running into it. You keep running into Talia stuns. You keep running into an Alistair that is more than fine. You're stunning him into the wall, but the ultimate is running, so no damage is coming through. As we see here, Ketsuo might be caught, but he's using the parallel convergence.
Gonna get the stun, but not, get the shield, not the stun. Ults back into 3 people. Ketsuo is going hard right now. Maraka and Fruity Carrots are here. Alistar very low, does go down, shut down to Fruity Carrots, but there's a lot of damage being put the other way around. This is a fully evolved Kane into the red form, and that's too much damage. BZ gets a double kill as the Echo turns back onto the Talia. Will fall under tower. Shadow going to die once again, almost assuredly, and Karina, will she get back under tower? No. Shut down over to Ketsuo.
I might need it. There's so much fighting going on. What is happening? As we see Kenji again going for this fight. I don't know if you win this, buddy. We're just burning ultimate to just then back off.
Yeah, just trying to get some kind of lane control, but I mean, Triforce versus not a completed item on Gwen, it doesn't feel good for Gwen.
That's a Triforce, a Dirk, and a pickaxe.
Dragdar, a little bit too far forward. Yeah, that guy's gone. Gotta give it to the Sivir too, which is nice. Get her on the board.
Where were those chains going?
I saw them by my window.
Yeah, I think, so. I think they just passed by
they
here
just
as well.
They flew by my house actually.
Yeah, I mean, a good catch on the side of Paragon trying to keep themselves in the game. It's only a 3k gold lead. This is not impossible, but on the side of Inquit there is a lot of scaling. You don't really want to fight into a Talia late game. You do have power to be in the relevant in the late game, even on Paragon. You do have the Sivir, you do have the Gwen. It's just a question of whether you can make the most of it. Karina dodges the ult.
Karina does not get knocked away, is very healthy into this. I saw a smite from somebody. Who's going to get the dragon? It's Alistar of all people! Lots of red health bars in here as Paragon might be trying to continue this fight. Karina gets over the wall. Done will fall eventually. BZ does not have a flash to get out of this pit. Will use the ult. But I don't get how Alistar takes that dragon.
You can milk those, I guess.
You can milk dragon steals.
That is true. I guess you can.
That to be clear. That is what we were talking about.
Yes. I mean, it's
Ketsuo. Diving. Does not have the ult. Actually, almost goes down. Karina got a smite, takes the kill. Ketsuo just playing with fire.
He almost had the damage, but not quite enough as more turrets go down for Paragon. And Kerberos at this point, 2 items completed on the gangplank. That's a scary-ass pirate.
Collector Triforce.
He'll parlay
yeah.
you to the face and not feel sorry about it.
Lots of people up on this top side. Kenji does need to be careful. I think team is pinging that Paragon. Realizing things are a little sketch. There's the Poppy W. Araka maybe in the wrong place, wrong time. Will actually continue to go in. Another W. Stuns Kane into the wall. Will force the ultimate. Tries to get over the wall with a flash just to make sure. Ease again. BZ doing a lot of damage to Baraka in the process. Dunn still running away, using the locket for that extra shield. Walks back under tower. Another huge knockup, but the damage is turned around. 5 IQ are winning the fight. Dragdar showed up. Force Shadow away. Maraka falls. Double kill over to Karina. Shadow falls after as well. Dunn doing the work, and 5 IQ somehow, some way, just making every fight go their way.
What? Kerberos is pushing the entire time.
That was a 4v5.
That was a 4v5, and this happens.
He didn't even use Cannon Barrage. Like, it's not like the GP 4v5 thing. It was literally 4v5.
Okay, Kerberos. I said a few words about you on the desk. You know, now you picked my champion. Favorite champion, not mine. It's not priority. But there's now a 10k gold lead on the side of 5 IQ. And this game is just feeling so much out of control. Paragon, we've praised them before. They had really good games. They've had really good way of playing the game that is controlled, that is team-oriented, that is very much towards that 5v5. The game is not over, but a 10k gold lead at 17 minutes. There's a 4k individual gold lead in the top lane. 4,000 gold pieces. This is the king of pirates at this point.
Easy. Gonna catch the bot wave now, and I mean, hey, we're only 18. This game feels like it's gone on 30 minutes. We are only 18 minutes in. Otacon has not even spawned. We haven't even gotten to talk about how Otacon changes the game in this season.
I mean, I've aged about 5 years in those 18 minutes, but yeah.
I wrote my will. I'm ready at this point.
I did. Okay, at least it's okay.
Ketsuo going in.
We're just going
Again,
for the fight.
There's so much risk in taking that, especially with Alistar above there. Ult is there, but man, it feels like Paragon are trying to scratch and claw their way back into this game.
They're certainly trying, but on the side of Inquake, there's now 2 items on every single major carry. GP has had about 40% crit chance. Karina has a 3-level individual lead. 3-level. That is one scary red cane with 2 items already completed. No, at this point, Kenji, are you gonna try again? Oh,
I don't know if they catch this GP. Slow is gonna hit. Flash still has the oranges. Gonna get the knock up now. Kerberos still running away. Not gonna survive this one for too long, I would imagine, although there's a lot of move speed. There's the Q. Shut down. Going over to Kenji.
Getting some gold in Kenji's back pocket. Good punish coming through from the side of Paragon. Finally being proactive on the map away from Ketsuo. Ketsuo doesn't have to be the end-all be-all. As we see here, more fighting in the bot side around Ketsuo. He still has the ultimate available. He has that Lich Bane completed on top of the Nashor suit. Now, that is a really big power spike for Echo. With the Electrocute proc and the passive procs, he's probably going to be able to blow up somebody whose name is either Dragdar or Kerberos. So it is a possibility that now Paragon can take fights around this guy. They can just make it happen. But if he gets chunked like this,
that's your ult for a pink ward.
Yep.
That was the trade that was just made.
If that was a level 16 Echo, you would have said worth. The cool ultimate's on like 30-second cooldown. You can take the ward, you burn the ultimate, and then you're fine. But this is still level 13.
Oh, top lane. Kenji going for another fight. They're just going back onto this gangplank, not giving Kerberos any room to breathe. Barrel's still there. Kenji is low enough that He doesn't want to try and take the fight. Poppy going in the minions. The last shield buckler grabs the kill, but the Rift Herald on the bot side opening up opportunities for it quick.
Paragon, if you did this about 10 minutes ago, it would have been great. If you punished the GP pushing 10 minutes ago, it would have been amazing. But now, you're forced in a situation where there's so much gold on the enemy side that it's difficult for you to try and trade back. So you see here, Dunn is just able to walk up to the enemy base and walk out. That's a level 9 Alistar. It shouldn't be able to do that, but it can just because of the gold differential.
Pretty Carrots does not know the Alistar is right there. W used Karina, still trying to get away. 5IQ are calling for the retreat here. They do not want to get involved in this fight. There is nothing to fight for. BZ low on mana, and this might be an awkward timer because Otacon is available, and Paragon would love to get this.
Yeah, Paragon would love to get something back on the map. Thornbound Otacon now collects all the flower, all the blood petals, and it's a permanent buff that makes it easier to teamfight. Oh, but this was
big knockups, and Karina's trying to get in, but the smite is good. Otacon goes over to Paragon, but can they win the fight afterwards? They've taken too much damage. Dunn is the only one who's even low for 5IQ. Everybody else running for the hills. Kenji, the only one outside of Maracas who is running for his life, and now I think that might just be the straw that broke the camel's back. Otacon secured, but Paragon lose everything else.
Maraca is trying to cancel reset and trying to hold the wave back as long as possible. The death timers are still low on the side of Paragon, so this might not be over yet. Ketsu's back in 10 seconds, so this is not over yet. The game looked to be over, but Paragon do secure the Otacon. First of all, that's really big. At this deficit, anything you can take away from the enemy team is great. Second thing they do secure is tempo on the map. Now they have more time that they can buy. And now any fight you take is just going to be that much harder for 5IQ to play into as soon as you get that first kill.
Yeah.
Basically, now Otacon, once you secure it, gives a Jin-like explosion on the death of enemy champions.
Or like maybe like a mini Lysandra passive pop. Like it's kind of crazy. 60% slow is I think what it is, and that's
15% current
slow.
HP damage.
Yeah, that's a lot of damage and a lot of slow.
Yeah.
It is crazy how the Otacon buff previously being like the bonus to neutral monsters was like, fine, kind of don't care about it. Now that thing's scary. Busy.
Yeah. Ketsuo is still scary. Ketsuo can still blow somebody up, especially with the items that he has. Probably he's going towards that Rabadon's Death Cap third item. He just wants burst. And the issue is we're running into on the side of Paragon is you're running into a composition that loves to be run at.
Mm-hmm.
And at this level of lead, it just makes it so much harder. But, truly
smite the cannon. That's my jungler right there. That's my jungler in solo queue, honestly.
Hell yeah. Yeah.
Comes to my lane, smites my cannon, walks away. Thank you for the gank, sir.
I feel like Fruity Carrots has been not subpar, but I feel like what the big thing that he's been lacking in this game is consistency of the use of the ultimates. Poppy ultimate's really good because we see a fight.
Oh, this is splitting the team, and Shadow is left all alone. Easy kill for 5IQ, and they're going to keep pushing forward on this. The inhibitor tower in their sights.
You have to reset on the side of Paragon. You can't stick on the side lane.
They can't get back to their base, This is inhibitor going down. Maraka's over there for the possibility of an engage, but there's no echo back, and that's one of your strongest players. Maraka still looking in here. Tower will fall. Inhibitor is gone in favor of IQ, though. And things just still continuing to get a little bit better for Int Quick.
The Paragon are trying. They're trying to call back everything they can on the map. Now, Ketsuo has completed his third item, going towards a Haunting Guys, probably going towards a Rift Maker on fourth. Trying to just be the end-all be-all for this Paragon roster. But as we see here, the third Drake is going down for the side of 5IQ. We'll put them on Ocean Soul Point. and Paragon can't really like look for anything right now because it's nigh on impossible. They're just getting run at.
And they've just not been prepared for these longer range engages. The GP ult, the Talia ult, kind of catching them off guard. Has split up the team fights a lot, and now Paragon walking up to the top side here. They're trying to get in onto Kerberos, and Kerberos, I think, will be taking a little bit of a break. gonna see a black and white screen for a little bit. But that doesn't really gain anything for Paragon outside of, they got a 4v5.
I mean, if they now pull the trigger on fighting the Baron, like, they'd have to do it immediately. You have the members on the side of the map, but you're resetting. Like, you got the kill, cool. Do something with it. Do something with the timer. Do something with the tempo that you're getting on the map. You're playing scared, and I get it. I get that you're playing scared because there's a gigantic lead on the other side. They've been steamrolling you the entire game. We're at 26 minutes in, and there is a 7k gold lead. But there was a 10k gold lead about 7 minutes ago. Like, this is good from Paragon. They're clawing back the game, but then you're not pushing on the accelerator once you have momentum.
It's worth mentioning, too, a 10k gold lead even staying the same after 7 minutes is a win for the losing team, because that gold, the amount of gold percentage-wise, not as huge of a difference. Now we have a gold lead starting to come back over to Paragon, but now they gotta fight this one out. BZ is way far ahead. Shadow will be putting down damage, but they do have the Zonias to keep BZ alive, flashing back into the team as there is fights all over the place. Kerberos has shown up now, left alone to fight multiple, but Karina is so healthy, just gets to walk forward, flash Q, knock up onto the Echo. There's no ult for Echo to get out of this one. Q won't get it, the move speed is just enough. Karina's trying to follow, but it's still 5 IQ, nobody dead, and 3 down for Paragon.
And the one time you don't get to pull the trigger at your own will in this game, it's just immense doom at this point. 5 IQ played the game excellently. This is valiant last stand coming through for Paragon, but I don't think it will be enough.
No ult for the Echo.
Kill. The
Another
King.
death. The Nexus will fall, and it was bloody, it was messy, but that's exactly how 5 IQ want to play.
Played into their hand. 5 IQ. Props to you. After the defeat coming through on Monday, the mental doesn't shake. You come out swinging. You play a game this offensive, this foot forward. You're showing that, like, we lost one game. Doesn't matter. We still have the drive to push forward. On the side of Paragon, I am disappointed, honestly. They had the tools to make the game happen. They had, I would argue, the better early game composition, and it just felt like they were very much sitting there and just not really doing much. They were just absorbing what was happening to them around the map. And like, this is not a team that we've seen back down. This is a team that has fought long, really long and hard. Throwback to our game, 50 plus minutes. And it just felt like they capitulated. They had some blood to come back into the game at about 21, 22 minutes. They had the will to try and play around the map and get something more. And then one fight and it just falls down.
Yeah, I mean, for what it is worth, I think we did see 5 IQ's weaknesses still show up here. They are not infallible by any means, and that still is showing in their gameplay. It's just going to take the right team to crack that consistently. But we're going to send it over to the desk. Harold, I'm going to have you run back there.
That's true. 1 second.
And we'll let the analyst desk break that one down.
Thank you very much, 1,000 Eyes. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. That was a bit of a strange one. Like, if I'm honest, I feel like Paragon did some things good early, right? They did a little bit of damage onto the Kane. They started off with some of the points we had, and then it felt like they kind of forgot and lost their way a bit. And I do think part of that is just because, you know what? I do kind of take it back a little bit. 5 IQ looked really good today. I feel like on these champions, it seemed like they were very comfortable, and I feel like that's the essence of them kind of having champions they played a lot, but also the fact that they are so confident in hands checking. When it goes well for them, it will just keep going better and better. And I feel like Corinna was exactly that in the essence of it. Like, 7-2 at one point after getting killed early on. Like, it didn't really phase them at all. They were able to play their game, and 5IQ just able to snowball the game. They took a lot of fights, Temporal, and we know how they like to win. They like to keep it scrappy. They like to keep it messy.
It really was. It's the same formula on different champions, the hands checking. And some of it did feel like a little bit like, well, the enemy is assembled in mid, so if you run in from the side of mid and ability, as soon as they don't run away instantly, then I'll go all right. And it was largely the story of the game.
I feel like also BZ, like, now maybe this is just me not remembering, but I feel like the Talia is getting better. Like, you know what I mean? I feel like I've seen it once. The first time I saw it, I was a bit like, don't know how I feel about that one. It was a bit rough. It just seems to be getting better and better and better. And it's starting to become quite a dangerous prospect in general. I feel like, honestly, like, it's hard not to be like, oh, Corinna in your mind, but actually, in terms of like pure damage, BZ went off in this game, Harold.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like BZ just did what he was supposed to. He set Talia into an enemy comp that wants to run into the Talia. You're just there throwing threaded volleys, using the stuns. The stuns were the major thing. He was really on point with those unraveled urts. He was being able to just disrupt the fighting ever so much that it made it feel so arduous for Paragon to ever keep the foot forward and keep the fight going. So I think
and I will say, like, I think we, unless there's anything else you wanted to add, Temporal or Howard, I feel like we're kind of good with the breakdown of that game. I feel like at the end of the day, my TLDR is Paragon. I don't feel like they showed up how they would normally, and I think 5IQ felt really comfortable, and they were just able to take the game by storm. And it does bring up the question for me, though, of how the league starts to look for Paragon, because they are starting to drop down this table, Temporal. They're now sitting 1-5. It's a bit of a tough situation to be in for them. And like, if you're a Paragon fan, you got to have a little bit of worry, because there's only 3 game days left for you, and your best score is going to be 4-5, and that may not take you as far as you think it could.
No, even if that was your score today on 4 wins, you're still not getting into the upper bracket, most likely. Because the teams at the bottom there, in 4th place right now, are on 4 wins. So that would be a real struggle. And it is, we are gearing up almost for a battle for 8th place. Bulldog sitting on 0 wins, Paragon still sitting on 1 win. It's going to be a little bit close at the lower end. There are 3 teams on 2 wins. So they've got a slight head start. New Belfast Storm, Gucci, and the Bandits. But
we've got 3. Thank you.
There's only 1 or 2 games. You got 3 now. Of course you do. My sheet has only been updated after game 1 today. And a little bit behind.
Yeah, it's a sentiment of it's going to be an important one, right? Obviously, as we go into week 4, we will start breaking down that table. We'll start giving you some odds. We'll start to let you know how close it really is at the top and at the bottom. Because as you said, number 8 could be all that it takes. It could be one game to really separate you from your position that could change everything in playoffs. But that is going to be the end of week 3. I hope you guys at home enjoyed it.
Interject, because I don't want you to sign off and not sign off. We did have Belfast Storm versus Good Chi off screen tonight. It was our off screen game. Congratulations, Good Chi, on what looks like a little bit of a barn burner. Maro on Ash, 10k damage over Jamsu. Sorry, Jamsu. Who's playing ADC today. So it looks like Belfast with a little bit of a substitute, which probably hasn't helped. And Foreshaw's Rennington with a 5 KDA.
Damn.
Hell yeah.
Okay. That's some impressive stats. But with that being said, thank you very much, Temporal, for the update. We will be back on Monday for week 4. Only 3 game days left. Do not miss out. We'll see you on Monday.